Hi, Rusty Deweese. Good New is the podcast. Ryan Cochran-Siegle, silver medalist in the Olympics, World Cup podium maker. He's a Vermonter, inside and out, from the famous Cochran family. Nicest guy you'll ever want to meet. And MSI, thank you. Artisan Coffee and Tea, thank you. Pauly Construction, thank you. And of course, Vermont Glove, thank you. You're going to want to watch this and listen to it. Ryan Cochran-Siegle on Good New. Ryan Cochran-Siegle, what do you do for work?
What do I do for work? Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, professionally, I'm a ski racer, so I guess that's my occupation, but it doesn't feel like work a lot of times. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, a great answer and a truthful answer. But I'm just thinking, what you meet people and the guy will be like, or the girl will be like, I bake, cookies. What do you do? And what do you say?
I struggle with it because I think it's very abnormal what I do. And it's also, I think, most of the time, I'm home in Vermont when I'm getting asked. And I'll be like, oh, I'm a skier. And sometimes I'm trying to answer it in the sense, I don't like necessarily talking about ski racing with people that don't know ski racing sometimes, because I think it's hard to communicate that. And it's very it's quite abstract, and a lot of people don't even know that that's could be a profession.
Oh, right.
And so I think I try to it's kind of like people that are like, oh, I'm an accountant. And that's basically a way of shutting down the question, because no one wants to hear about someone being an accountant. It can be fairly boring, I'm assuming. So I'm I'm a skier. It could be interpreted, I'm a ski instructor. I'm
yeah, man,
something like that. And then if they want to kind of continue, I was like, oh, what type of skier? Then I'll be like, oh, I'm on the US ski team. I race professionally. That's kind of how it goes. I'm not very good at it though. It honestly needs work. So that I don't want to shut people out either. I think I get a little embarrassed at times talking about it, because most 33-year-olds you're meeting are, they're an engineer, or they're working in finance, or working, a lawyer, doctor, whatever.
You feel like you're slacking when you say that?
Not slacking. It's more just I think it pinpoints so close to who I am in a way that I like to be a little bit more ambiguous at times when I don't want the spotlight on me. And I'm not trying to say that I'm well known. I think it's more just there are only so many 33-year-old professional ski racers in the state of Vermont, being me. So
in the world.
Yeah. No, I'm saying
there are only so many.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There's only even that. There's probably under 10, I bet. No, that's very fair.
I thought about starting this podcast that way because I thought about starting it that way. Well, now I say I'm an entertainer.
Yes.
It's a little bit the same.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Now I'm old, I'm 6, so I'm more used to it. Oh, I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, what do you do, or whatever.
Yeah.
But and then further, what do you put on your tax return? Occupation?
Self-employed. And I say athlete. And I think that's
right.
Yeah. That's
so then.
Yeah.
Do you ever, so what do you do? So Ryan, hey, nice to meet you. What do you do? You never thought of going, or you never consistently said, well, I'm an athlete. But you would have to say I'm a professional athlete. And then that sounds a little, I'm a professional.
Exactly. Yeah. That's actually a really good point. I feel like that is a good way of introducing it. Cause like you said, it leaves a lot of, open room to explain further. I might take note of that, but yeah, I back to skiing too. It's funny making, a living out of it, financially speaking. Whereas athletes, I think there's such a variety of athletes in this day and age that it makes more sense in my head.
You could be like, yeah, the athlete thing. Oh, I'm an athlete. One of the 4 things that would go through my head if somebody said that is trust funding.
Yes.
I'm an athlete, man. Yeah. I'm kayaking today.
Yeah.
I'm skinning tomorrow. No, you wouldn't skin and kayak necessarily the same time, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I say sell it, man, all the way. I'm a professional athlete. I'm actually a World Cup skier. Speed events. Just keep going.
Well, I like being a little bit ambiguous initially by saying I'm a skier, because I think the first thing they're going to think of is like ski bum, like probably works as a lifty and then like skis on the side. And I think sometimes like leaving it on that side of things and then saving a little bit of opportunity for surprise to be like, oh no, I'm like, on the US ski team, like have things to kind of back up my story. I think they get a little bit more intrigued with that. And then there's a little bit of a shock factor at times, but yeah, I mean, it's always fun meeting new people and like people that have no idea of the world that I, kind of come from, and sharing that with them. So
that's great. I bet pilots, like commercial airline pilots, get that. I'm a pilot. Well, I'm one of those people that's up front flying you to Europe and stuff. Now, on that note, people know who this podcast is with. It's with you. And on that note, stay on the business side of it. As an entertainer for years, doing the movies and stuff and my own thing, literally, I have an entertainment accountant. I have a bookkeeper who's local, Barb. She's great. And literally, I can write off almost everything. Is that similar in your life?
Yeah, I would say in this day and age, I try to keep it more of like truly what I always think of like, I mean, I'm for sure not a tax professional, but if I'm, if I buy my mountain bike, I'm doing it for my physical training for ski racing. So write that off.
Socks. You're wearing socks.
Ski socks. Yeah, I do. I write that off. I would say all my supplements like protein powder, when I'm doing that, I write that off. I've gone like, I think when you're like first starting out, you try to like get your income to show zero as best as possible, which is like, I mean, if you're making, thousands of dollars, it's a lot easier to do. Once that number starts creeping up, then you have to be pretty honest with yourself. So I do try to keep it very like, was this specific for me as a ski racer, not for me as like Ryan just living, following it that way. And I usually, so, but yeah, you do have so much like, I mean, if you're traveling for like to give a speech somewhere, obviously the gas that you spend to get there, or, I mean, traveling in general, a lot of that too.
Yeah. And then when you travel to give that speech, that meal that you buy yourself on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The complicated part is because I'm also supported by the US ski team. So when we go to a camp that we're traveling or like travel to a camp, ski team is, fully footing that bill. But then there's like other costs with that, which like, if I go to the grocery store and I get myself like a snack that's not reimbursed to the ski team, like, so, but they're obviously paying for my whole hotel and like dealing with that. So yeah, trying to do my best with it, but it's complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. When you were starting out skiing, I mean, really, really young, your mother and you, I don't know if people know that if you're going to go to a race, am I correct saying, say you're 12 years old or 13 or 14, don't you have to pay?
Oh yeah.
And it's not like you're working. It's not like maybe your family at that point or at any point isn't like making, it's hard ski racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, from a very young age, I would say the financial implications to become a ski racer, especially in this day and age, has become far more expensive, relative to I feel like when I was growing up and even before then. But it starts with the cost of equipment that it takes, like full ski gear. Plus, generally, most kids will have, not just one set of skis, but they'll have like training skis, race skis, sometimes different events. So those numbers just keep going up. And each time, each pair of skis costs hundreds of dollars, if not close to $1,000. And then, every race, you're going to get to go to all these different mountains. But with that, race entry fees. So it's very different from, if you join your local soccer club or, I guess soccer actually seems like they've, there's a lot of travel soccer and costs with that, but like your high school, or I would say your elementary school baseball team, let's say, like most of those costs are, there might be a little upfront cost, cover like cost of a jersey or anything like that, but it's pretty, that's it.
Team play.
You don't pay for the field that you're using. Obviously with skiing, it's different. You have to pay for those tickets. So it is like a very high cost entry sport.
think there's a cliche in folks' minds. All the really successful World Cup skiers came from a background, and that's not true. But then at what point did the U.S. ski team start to really pick up a lot of that cost, or maybe most of it for you?
I was lucky where I made the national team my senior year in high school, and they always do you're nominated in the springtime. So as I was graduating high school, figuring out the US ski team, and the original bill that I was sent was for $20,000 to cover that season. And for my family and I, it was like, no, we can't afford that. So we had to turn them down. And then probably about a month later, they got back and they're like, all right, we found different grants to cover that cost. So
Right.
I was, like actually very fortunate that season. I mean, I was the only one on my team that received that financial aid. And it's the reason that I was able to accept my nomination. And then that season, I actually ended up skiing really well. I would say beyond what I would have, expected. I earned a World Cup spot for the following year, and also got my ranking low enough that I qualified for the B team, so this was the 2011 season going into the 2012 season. And at that time, the B team was fully funded. So like A team, B team, fully funded, kind of that World Cup group. And then below that, C team and D team, there were, different levels of financial kind of what they're asking. And, this is 15 years ago. So that has all changed and gone through an evolution where there were a couple years where the US ski team financially, because they have a good amount of donors and then they also have sponsors, and that's kind of how they foot the whole bill. And it's massive operation. I think it's like their budget each year is like 50 million to support, all the different sliding sports, or not slide, all the different skiing and snowboarding that's under their kind of roof that they have to, support.
But I mean, you were kind of old by then. There was a lot of years you were footing the bill.
Yes.
You skied yourself into that situation. By the way, talking about fundraising, should I go to that thing in December, man, in New York? Is that cool? There's a
the gold medal gala.
Yeah. Tell the people about it. Should I buy a ticket for that? It'd be like $500 and
it could be exciting. Like, I think because I know that you are a big fan of skiing.
Yeah.
You do get to see, there's a lot of athletes that go to, I won't be able to go this year because we'll have a training camp in Europe during that time. But it is a great way to support the US ski team. I think I love New York City in the sense, like 2 to 3 days there is like great for me. Like, it's such an out of body experience. I grew up in Vermont, very rural, but seeing, I totally understand why the New York City lifestyle is like such a huge thing, just the culture there. And, you have...
Yeah, I lived there 11 years.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you like going to New York City is probably...
I like going to New York. But so if you guys aren't going to be there, the whole men's speed crew, I'd like to see Bryce Bennett and say, hey, Brian's my friend. Hey, Bryce. No, I would go.
Yeah, Bryce won't be there. I'm trying to think of the dates. I think all the GS crew too won't be there because of Solden. But you still have, like, I would imagine Breezy Johnson, world champion from last season. She should be there. And you also get, like all the freestyle skiers, snowboarders. So there's a lot of like really good athletes that go, which is pretty cool.
But it's just like any of those events.
It's just a gala, yeah.
But it'll be, won't it be a little bit more attention on the team because it's an Olympic year?
Yeah, because of the Olympic year, for sure. There's definitely more fundraising kind of in place, or a more of a fundraising initiative for Olympics year, because there's also added cost to support the Olympic team.
Yeah,
so.
Speaking of Olympic year, we can jump ahead. Some people will be watching this after the Olympics.
Yes.
They'll have seen you win, and they already have seen you win in the Olympics, a silver medal. But is the plan that you will be in the Olympics in 2025?
2026 is the Olympic. No. I still have to qualify. So that is the first step, which you qualify through the World Cups this coming season, kind of between November and the middle of January. So they won't select the actual Olympic team until it's usually like 2 weeks before the Olympics start. I have a major opportunity to be able to take part in that, but for sure, I'm I believe that you have to earn that spot first. So I like to.
Right. And that would be your third Olympics.
It would be my third Olympics. Yes.
Let's get right to people who listen to this. Let's get right to the silver medal run. 2002 Beijing.
Yep. Yeah.
2002 Beijing.
2022.
2022. I always missed the 20 part.
Yeah.
Honest to God, in my life, I'll say 2000.
I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Well, I'll say 2004 when I mean 2024.
Yeah.
It was, do you know what day it was? A day of the week?
I don't know. Days of the week during the winter season, like really don't.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. Okay.
It was February 8th.
Okay.
2022. Silver medal. It was, and the reason I'm saying all these dates, I'm not being quirky. Not the January previous of that February, but the January a year before that February, January 22nd, 2021.
Yeah.
What happened?
I fractured my transverse process in my C7 vertebrae in a crash in Kitzbühel. I remember that pretty well.
Right. So that's a year later, you win an Olympic medal.
Yeah.
I mean, is that overall, like, if you look at your life, I don't know, perspective, do you go, that's pretty good? That's a pretty, in what way? I don't know, the world, of God, Zen, family, community, I don't know, that's heavy duty.
It's fun to look back because the period, I mean, for one thing, like the world was still in the pandemic. And I think it kind of all starts from the beginning of COVID, like that March of COVID, because I think that turned everyone's perspective, like of what mattered and what people valued and the experiences that they have. Like so much of that changed. And for me as an athlete, like our season ended in March of 2020 early because of COVID. We got, I woke up at 5 a.m. trying to prepare for a World Cup. I think this was a Wednesday. It was either a Wednesday or Thursday. We were supposed to get on the lift at like 7 a.m. Woke up at 5, and my coach came in like just wearing his underwear and was like, "Pack your bags. We have to head home." And this was March 12th when President Trump like essentially was saying that he's closing the borders. And so going from like preparing for the last races of the season to just season's over, you're going home, like got a quarantine. It definitely like it was such a bizarre like experience. And this is also kind of like in the middle of, my athletic career where you put so much work into it and you only have, a set window. And there was so much unknown, but in the back of my head, it was like, just plan on having a racing season this following year. And so, the whole spring, I had a nice little break at home, staying with my mom, but went through kind of that, like getting back into the gym being, outside with whatever weights you could figure out because no gyms were open at the time, and just staying focused and skiing. And I mean, the whole prep period was so different from what we usually do. We usually go to either New Zealand or Chile, like South America. And we couldn't be on snow for a while. And we were like, are we going to be able to travel to Europe because of COVID? Didn't really know. So there's just so many questions up in the air. And eventually the race season started. We had races in Val d'Isère and like wasn't going as well as I wanted to, especially in GS, which I had gone a few GSs, and that was kind of like my main event at the time. Was barely qualifying, wasn't really skiing how I wanted to, and it was kind of frustrating, but went through like a little bit of a learning period. And then there was like a block of speed coming up between, I think, Val d'Isère end of November, and then Val Gardena beginning of December, and then Bormio like right around Christmas.
And when you say speed, you mean
speed, like the downhill and Super G events of alpine skiing. So you're usually hitting speeds of 70, 80 miles per hour. It's definitely longer courses, more distance between gates, essentially longer skis.
So then you started to heat up.
Yeah, definitely started to like get a little bit more confidence. Felt like my skiing was in a good place. I just wasn't performing on race day, which honestly, that's like where I'd rather be, because I think it's like there's a certain panic you get when you feel like you don't know how to ski fast anymore. And that's how I felt like I was, between October and November, kind of going through that. And once you get out of that, you're kind of like, okay, things are good. Just like focus on the key aspects. And so going into Gardena, like started to build confidence. The Super G was first, and then downhill race after that. Super G like went well. I got a top 10. I was like, that was the best I'd ever done in Gardena. I was like, this is great. And then downhill, I'd never raced before. I'd done training runs in the past, which in downhill, you get to do either 1 or 2 training runs like leading up to the race. So I'd had a little bit of exposure on the hill, but not a lot. So basically it was like, all right, this is more of a Gladys track. Like I'm more technical. Just go have fun with it. No, pressure, like just try to use it as a learning experience. Had a great run, like super fun, really enjoyed the moment, got down and came down in second, which I was like, so unexpected.
That was your first World Cup podium.
First World Cup podium. I think it was around December 17th. I don't know if that's the exact date of 2020 because my cousin Tim, I think 1 or 2 nights before, had his first kid, Lily, which is kind of like a cool way. Because I remember getting a photo after my podium of Tim and Susie and Lily in the hospital.
For 40 years, Poly Construction out in Williston been providing all sorts of work for your home. Now, 7 divisions at Poly Construction. Windows and doors, kitchens and baths, decks and porches. Handyman at Poly Construction. Sparkles, that's their window cleaning crew. Oh, man. Oh, rot doctors. And, well, that's 6 out of 7. What the hell? Go to their website, Poly Construction. One call does it all. We're going to keep going forward and then the neck injury in 2030. But let's click on. That's a new thing you say. Let's click on that. Like, let's unpack. The people say unpack. I don't say that on my thing. I don't say those bullshit things. And he told me that they joke. It's like, let's double click. Let's double click on the first podium. Yeah. You're growing up. You've been on, but the thing is, you've been on many podiums growing up skiing.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But now the World Cup podium, when you're standing there, like if I was playing Carnegie Hall, I've been on many, many stages, thousands.
Yeah.
It's a good chance if I had a gig at Carnegie Hall, there's a good chance I'd be sitting there going, God damn, it's Carnegie Hall, man.
Yeah.
Did that feel like that, or does it go by so fast?
Yeah, it was a special moment where, I mean, I had been skiing World Cup for a good number of years. I skied my first World Cup, I think in was it the fall of 2011, something like that. And so this is, fall of 2020, basically essentially winter of 2020, 2021. And I think every time I'd raced, you dream of being a part of that, like having that success, but having it take so long, sometimes you kind of doubt that. You're like, I don't know if that'll ever happen for me. And so it was definitely it was a very rewarding experience in the sense that it felt like I belonged and that the work that I had put in, I was being rewarded for, not for I think just kind of getting that accomplishment, like a World Cup podium for sure. It's hard to do. It's it takes a lot of work and a little bit of luck to get there. So I think I recognized that and enjoyed that. And I was like, all right, this is great. Also can't hold on to this forever. I do need to move on and keep doing what I've been doing. And so it wasn't that hard because there was a GS race the next day that I went over and
but it was, there's a time to breathe. You allow yourself a time to breathe there.
I remember when I was walking out to the podium, because it is it's not like any other podium that you go on to, because there's still such a big crowd for skiers, and the whole, order of how they're handing out their flowers and the award and all that. And I mean, getting to stand too, with the day's winner, who's Alex Kilda. I mean, I think one of the really true great speed skiers, and especially for my generation. And also he's just such a great guy that it was cool to experience that with him. And then also Beat Foyts was 3rd place, who again, phenomenal skier. I don't know how many downhill globes he won, Olympic gold medalist in the downhill in Beijing. So very accomplished, and kind of sharing that moment, getting the photo with those two guys. It felt very surreal and special.
How far back were you from Alex?
I wasn't that close. I think it was I want to say 2 or 3 tenths. He won by a good amount, especially for Gardena. Sometimes it's really hard to separate on, but we were quite a bit of ways ahead of Bayot. I think Bayot might have been like either 4 or 5 tenths, something like that. And like in ski racing terms, right, we're talking about like hundredths can be close. So like tenths, you're kind of like, oh, there's like a good amount. But in reality, it's like you look at our run top to bottom, you could barely tell, the difference. But we feel it.
Well, I was this is so much to talk about because I'm a little boy crush on American downhillers, men and women.
Yeah.
I just love it. Oh, so it just went out of my head. But hold on, it's interesting to see me get what I was thinking now. Timing. No, lost it. Okay, so now let's go back to that's great.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of that.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to that podium.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2020.
Yes. How to get
you're starting to feel.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Remember, I want to go back to now before the injury.
Yeah.
And I might have
I'm talking linearly, which is how I'm going to get there. I know it's taking a while to get there, but yeah, totally. I can.
So I want to go back to something when you said I wasn't feeling like I was skiing. I could ski fast. I wasn't skiing like I could ski fast.
Yeah.
I was going to specifically say when you're a racer and you're saying, man, I'm just not skiing fast these days. How much slower is that? Like you're racing, you're training. You guys and girls are talking about it, and I got to do this, I got to do that. What is the difference between you're going like, yeah, okay, man, I'm dialing it in? Is that a second?
I would say, yeah, second plus probably. Not, I mean, depending on the skier you are, I would say if you're getting beyond like 2 or 3 seconds, then it's like that's when you need to hit the panic button because for sure you're far away from. And this also depends on the tracks too. Like,
I know, but say you're training on the same track theoretically 10 times that in 3 days. You're like, I'm a second behind when I should be.
I think it was probably I was dealing with like between 1 and 2 seconds and like feeling like the performance that I was having, and not just the time it was, but I think like there's situations that are considered like easy for skiers, like gliding when you're going straight, not a lot of turning, and it's so easy to lose a lot of time. It's like very it's a weird thing. Like if you're edging too hard or either going too straight, going too round, those types of things, and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. Is gliding considered technical? Because you're real good technically. You're good at everything. I understand. Yeah. But so gliding is not the technical part.
Yeah, gliding's for sure more speed oriented.
Is that how you're?
No, rated? It's like I would say I've had to work really hard on it because I wouldn't say it came so naturally the way that some people kind of seem to be. But it's like this nuance of you're trying to do as little as possible while still doing something. And so with gliding, especially with like drier snow that's not ice, every time you tip your skis up, that edge is digging into the snow, which is creating friction and slowing you down. And so the really talented gliders, are like, 50-50 pressure, very even. And they're still able to create movement through the ski that generates power and like generates speed from a release. And that like understanding is, you have to be so like precise and so smooth with it and not fighting. Whereas technical skiers, we're building speed by generating as much, power into the ski above and into the fall line and then releasing that. But with gliding, generally it's, flatter hills, less to kind of produce that speed. And when that's
that's great. And by the way, if you hear that's my computer going, I want to shut my phone off, but I think the computer will still go. And there's a gliding part at the Honnencom, which is Kitzbühel, which is where you hurt your neck. And I want to talk about that gliding part.
Yeah.
So, but no, I love this. So this is the thing. This is you were 2021, the broken neck, and then 2022, the Olympics glory. So let's go. Now you turn the year into 2021, you have your first podium and you're feeling it now.
Yeah.
You're feeling really good. And what was the next race after that podium?
Definitely feeling very confident, which is like, that's where you want to be as a skier. My next race was the next day, which was a GS in Alta Badia, which was funny because I like was, coming off this huge high, like not overly confident, but just in a really good place. And but also a little fatigued because I had just done, 2 training runs, a Super G race and a downhill, and then go right into a GS is pretty tiring. And the first run, I like barely qualified for flip. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, like I'm back to earth now.
Flip is at 30?
Yeah, top 30. And GS, in order to get a second run, which means, you have to get top 30 to qualify. And so I ended up being one of the slowest guys to get World Cup points that day. So it brought me down to earth in terms of GS, but I was still at a high in terms of my speed skiing. So it was kind of this funny place. And always after Alta Badia, we had this little break where as a speed skier, I went to Patch with our team. We have like a little apartment set up there, which is outside of Innsbruck in Austria, and spent Christmas, 4 days was like our Christmas before we have to go to Bormio. So it was a nice little break, but it was kind of like a weird time to take a break too, because, just finished skiing Gardena, had a great result. Don't really know how the rest of this year is going to shape out. But also enjoying that moment, having a good time with the guys and like going out to dinner.
You do a little sled thing. It's a tradition.
Yeah, rodeling. Yeah, we'd always go rodeling too.
Christmas time.
Yeah. Just like team bonding type stuff. I think sharing that moment, because it's also a tough time of year too, being gone from family and being away on the road. So we usually have our own little celebrations, but just very normal stuff. And so rolling into Bormio is the complete opposite of what Gardena is, where Gardena has like really cool terrain built up, really nice winter snow. It's very fun to ski, very gliding kind of oriented. Bormio is like the exact opposite. Like steep, dark, really bumpy, usually incredibly icy, very hard to like get a good feeling like flow wise. So like if you do well in Gardena, there's no correlation between doing well in Bormio. They're like entirely separate tracks.
You've done 2 podiums at Gardena? No,
I have. Yeah.
Okay. 2 of your 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but go ahead.
So basically, this is all coming back to like, basically I didn't have any big expectations with Bormio. I was kind of like, just let it be how it is. And first training run, like made it to the bottom, ended up, I think sometimes right after Christmas, half the guys are just trying to survive to get to the bottom because it's such a wake up call. And I kind of like, I had a fine run, but won the first training run, went back the next day, won the second training run. I was like, oh, okay. And this is coming after, being second in Gardena too. So I was like, oh, this seems like skiing's easy now for whatever reason. And the way the scheduling was, they put the Super G before the downhill. So, 2 training runs and then go into the Super G race. But I hadn't, really proven myself in Super G yet that year. So I was kind of like, I'm excited. I'll have fun with this, but real like focus is on downhill. Like I want to, focus on the downhill. That's like what I think I have my best shot in. And so the Super G, I was just, skiing, like kind of sticking to my cues. Very like present, I would say, not forcing things. And I think just kind of enjoying it, having fun, like embracing the challenge, and got to the bottom. And I was in the green light, which means you come down winning by like 9/10, which was like a lot in skiing. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I think I was bib 8 at the time. So there's still a lot of good skiers to go.
Yeah.
But it was like, wow, this is wild. And ended up winning the race. Like totally unexpected, Downside of that was you then have to go through the whole award. So instead of like finishing your race and going to the hotel, do your recovery, get ready for the downhill, I was like, busy celebrating, obviously, like, embracing that moment. But then got to get right back into the downhill the next day. Downhill, I skied well. I made a couple mistakes that I was actually really fortunate not to like completely destroy myself. Survived to the bottom and didn't, get that kind of win that I was looking for. But I think also recognizing like skiing was there, and just without the mistakes, I would have been competitive. So it was a fun experience. And definitely very like fond memories to look back on.
You're kind of on a roll. And then, and then you go to Kitzbühel.
Go to Kitzbühel, and similar situation with Bormio, where I think I believe I won the first training run. And then the second training run, I was fast in, but I had a mistake up top. So I was kind of like, I knew my skiing was there. And that's when it's like, all right, like, you can be competitive. You just have to put it together, top to bottom. And so
just for a second before you get into that run, Explain to the few people who don't know what you're talking about. Kitzbühel is like the American football's Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's definitely the
Why?
most. Yeah, I would say it's the most prestigious and historical race of the year because I would say the track is so unique and so challenging. Sitting at the top of the start, it's incredibly steep. It's so hard to describe how steep it is. It's incredibly icy. It's dark. And you have, I think in the first 10 seconds, you get up to 60 miles per hour, and then you go over like a 40-meter jump. So it's very like high intensity straight from the get-go. And you're also in the heart of ski racing in Austria, in Kitzbühel, Austria. So the fans are crazy, like so passionate. And
it's the 2 nights before, and
a lot of partying. Yeah, luckily we don't stay in Kitzbühel because it's so loud those nights. So yeah, there's just this energy that you feel right when you get there.
And in the ski community worldwide, if you win at Kitzbühel, the Hahnenkamm it's called, you're just a god.
Yeah, you're definitely, there's a lot of notoriety with it. A lot of respect too. You get a gondola, which is pretty cool. My uncle, Bob Cochran, he won the Kitzbühel Combined, which was combining the downhill race with the slalom race back in the day. And so he was the fastest. And so he has his own gondola, although the Cochran is spelled incorrectly because there's an extra E there's an added E on the end of it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that, in sports, you're always looking for that premier event that you want to succeed in. Kind of like showcase. Yeah.
100.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that,
So you're ramping up, man. You're rolling. And now here we are.
Yeah. I felt like it was like, it's my time. Like I'm ready to take this on.
You and your uncle.
Yeah.
You want to win, your uncle won too.
Yeah, totally.
And hey, wait a minute. Not even, did I peek? Not even a lot of American ski racers, downhillers have won that.
Darren Rawls, I think, is the last one to do it. I'm trying to think.
Huh.
I mean, Bodie was close a couple years and just like crazy stuff. Yeah. So definitely one of those especially as an American downhiller, like if you do well in Kitzbühel, it like establishes yourself. And so,
so you get up there and you're rolling.
Yeah.
You're in that start thing.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, the first half of the course skied really well. I think I was winning going off the road, which is like this, it's fast, dark, super a couple of really technical turns in this big fall away left footer going onto the road. And so
are you feeling at that point you've been doing well? You had to have a first and say are you able to, you're concentrating on what you have to do, but are you able to go like, yeah, I'm feeling it? Are you aware? Whoa, this is good. I didn't take a step back. I'm building on this.
I was conscious that was the best that I had skied the top section all week. And so I knew that I was like, okay, this is going well, but you always have to be focused on the next thing.
Yeah.
And so the road is really your only chance in Kitzbühel. It's like the road and then Oberhausberg, the two sections when you there's not so much going on that you do get to those thoughts creep in. But it's always stay present, when you start thinking that, at least for me, I'm like, all right, back to the moment, what's next, think about what you need to do next, right? You're heading off the road into the next jump into, I think Seidelom is the section. And then you're there and then you start reacting and, all thoughts are out the window. So that was kind of the way that it was going. That next section, I wouldn't say that I actually skied phenomenally well. I made it through it fine, but I wouldn't say that I carried a lot of speed. And I know that I lost time to Beat Voits just from watching the video enough times.
Were you still in the green, do you think?
No, I'm pretty sure I was, before I skied out, I think I was in 5th or 6th place. I don't know. I think it was 8/10 out at that point, but I was very committed to skiing well on the bottom because I didn't feel like I actually did that well in the training runs. And so I was very focused on stepping on my outside ski going into the traverse. And I will say that I did that, but I didn't also move through the terrain. And there's a little kicker piece of terrain as you enter the traverse that you have to kind of move through. And then you just hang on through this long side hill. And so because I didn't move through forward, when I went over it, I was in the back seat and my skis, kind of hooked up going uphill. And so I was still I can save this. So I tried to like kind of revert down, and then that was like when the whole ground kind of fell away from me. Went into this spin, also heading straight in the net, and kind of I think my tails caught first as I hit the net, and then I like opened up, and then my head essentially like T-boned the bottom part of the net. And fortunately, the net actually like one of the cables I think got undone, so I kind of like went through the net, and then like it was kind of like soaring up and then down and then on the backside on the other side,
and then you land, and then we've all fallen down or whatever, and whatever I'm falling, or some people have had car accidents and bad ones. That's a whole thing. But and then you're a ski racer. You've just had a pretty good accident, and then what's going through your mind? What's the mind process? Okay, I could be screwed up here bad, or I'm not screwed up here bad. Well, I'm not going to win today, but I have been winning. It was
I at that point I was like, okay, like I really hope I'm not hurt, because I think sometimes pain, like there is an instant when you do something, you're like, oh no, that's going to hurt, and then it hurts, and I was waiting for that like pain signal to come, and I was kind of like, am I okay? And the pain, like I never experienced any pain. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm all right. And then I was kind of like, am I concussed? Like my head feels totally normal. I feel very present. I remember everything. Like, I think I'm all right. And
the people running up to you.
Yeah, I do remember, it felt like I had like a stinger down my arm. If you've ever experienced something like that, like a nerve like thing. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I just like hit my funny elbow. And so then I was kind of like moving around, and I did this like movement with my neck where it like sent the like same like ping down my arm, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And so then it was kind of like, all right, like gotta wait and see. And I was climb back out through the net. Actually, maybe did I climb out? Maybe not. But during this whole time, I mean, this is a matter of like a couple minutes, because it was a high velocity crash. The helicopter crew like had already sent the helicopter. So as I was like figuring out if I was all right or not, the like trooper with the sled came down. So I had to get in the sled. And then they took me first to the elementary school. The way Kitzbühel set up, they have like their, transfer. So I like switched helicopters, and then they flew me to the hospital in St. Johann.
Where you're still, first of all, anybody can watch that. You can run RCS at Kitzbühel 2021.
Yeah. Yep.
You can watch that. And are you still feeling that stingery thing when you're moving your neck? Because you're going, I'll do the sound effect.
Yeah.
And you're going up, and you're like, oh shit, that's still there. Uh-oh. Are you doing that, or you're like, Jesus, I came out of this pretty good? I'm skiing next week.
I was skeptical. I was like, there was a race the next day. I was like, I want to race the next day. Like, I feel all right. I was a little in the back of my head. I was a little skeptical because that was weird to like feel that I was like, I can't be normal. And then once I kind of came like, fully present to the situation, I could feel numbness in my index finger. And that like, sometimes you hit, like when we ski, sometimes our hand hits the ground or something where it like, you don't have the greatest like feeling, and then it comes back after a couple minutes. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe it was like that. And I remember when I transferred helicopters, I believe she was a doctor on board, and I was kind of explaining, she was like asking me all these things, like, does anything hurt, any of that stuff. I was like, the only thing is like my numbness in my hand. And I was like, is that normal? And she was kind of like, oh, we'll probably have to wait and see how the imaging is. Which is kind of like when you're asking a doctor if something's normal and they don't say it's normal, usually it's not normal.
Yeah, no, she was very, very good, good bedside manner. Yeah. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So went to the hospital, had a bunch of imaging. First, they did a lot of like internal MRIs to make sure that I didn't have like any internal bleeding. Yeah. And I was fine. And then later on, this is probably like an hour or two after all that, had a neck. I don't know if it was a CT or an MRI, but from that, they were able to diagnose the fracture, which was like so small too. I mean, just like a little like winglet kind of.
Yeah, but you knew you were done for the season, but your probability of racing the next season was very, very strong.
Yeah, it was still trying to figure, like at that situation, I went back to the team hotel and trying to figure out what was my best,
You went back to the team hotel.
Yeah. I mean, I was out of the hospital.
Oh yeah,
had my neck brace. Yeah. and hung out at the team hotel, like went and watched the next day's race at the finish.
Were you in pain?
No. So there was never any pain. That's like what's interesting about it, just because it is like nerve stuff. So, obviously there can be different types, but I just had like an impingement, which was from the fracture pushing on, I don't know which nerve it is, but the one that runs down my arm. And so was like fine, but obviously needed to get it treated. So eventually flew to South Carolina to meet with our team's neurosurgeon specialist, Dr. Sonny Gill. And he, I had more imaging done there, and he's like, let's give it 2 weeks. Sometimes these things heal on its own, in which case, if you avoid surgery, you actually can like come back and finish in the season in 8 weeks. So I could have made the last couple races, waited the 2 weeks, went home and flew back. Symptoms didn't dissipate. So then he was like, yeah, we should probably operate. So I had surgery the next day. And then so that was, I don't know what day exactly, but probably pretty close to that, like February 8th, like a year before.
And then,
yeah.
And then you started doing your rehab.
Yeah.
You weren't like, no problem, man. Next year at this time, I'll be winning a silver medal in the Olympics. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Or were you worrying about it?
I wasn't so worried because I think my symptoms were so minor. I was very focused on like, I just had a good amount of success, especially like, what I've been dreaming of for so long, and like holding on to that belief in myself. That's what I wanted to get back to, like to prove myself, like, I'm a competitive ski racer and one of the best in the world. Like, that's what we're always striving to be as athletes. And so I think I held that vision of myself, because right when I got injured, I was like, for me, it felt like I was on top of the world. And that was definitely like, positives and negatives with that. Like positive, having so much confidence in myself to come back so that I didn't really ever have doubt. Negative, I would say it wasn't like I think there was a certain aspect that I wasn't, fully like that skier yet. I hadn't actually established myself at that level yet.
Oh.
And I think I wanted to believe that, but I think in reality I was, away from that still. So yeah. So
how do you pass your time then? Because now it's February, the season's over, and half of one of your seasons.
Yeah.
You're not going to ski. How do you pass your time of psychologically and no, not so much physiologically, but mentally?
Mm-hmm.
How do you incorporate positivity? Are there ways that you do that in your life, or are you just like, hey man, yeah, I'll go. I'll have a yoo-hoo. You want a tuna sandwich? Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. How do you have a process of that? Or
I was through that process. I was pretty good because I was given a timeline of like, you'll be able to ski in 2 months post surgery. So there's like a very like attainable
nice
goal that, that's how I think that is always so helpful when you're coming back from injuries, having those like set steps and knowing that it was only 2 months. Like I was like, oh, this is a walk in the park. I've had other injuries that, far more substantial than that, with like a lot more like lesser known situations, and going through that gave me perspective of like what this really was. Like I was really incredibly lucky that, the injury wasn't worse, like that it wasn't a full,
aren't we all,
like cervical spine injury. And just getting that, I was like very appreciative. So I was in a very good space going through that.
It's good,
fortunately. Yeah. And very motivated too, like fully like,
could you I know the neck thing, I remember seeing you on Instagram doing this. Could you keep the legs and everything, or is it in shape, or it didn't really matter?
You couldn't
take those 2 months off and come back slowly once you can get on snow.
I was you're limited with how much you can lift. So I couldn't actually put so much through, like I wasn't doing, so much like leg press or lifting at that point. Once I got cleared to ski, then my, training program. And at that point too, once the season was over, my whole focus was just getting back for November the following year. Uh-huh. And so I knew I also had, a big block of time to get physically back.
Yeah.
And so that like, I was, excited to ski again. I went to Mammoth, was there with the team, free skiing for like 10 days, having a good time. Just
no numbness in the arm at that point.
All of that.
They would let you ski.
All that had gone better. And that honestly improved. Even just like an hour after surgery, the numbness was already like dissipating.
Oh, that's good.
So it was a pretty quick, process for that.
Thank you, MSI, Manufacturing Solutions Incorporated, up Morrisville. They have a division, MSI Realty. Go to msirealtyvt.com. Leasing for commercial leasing, for flexible leasing options, industrial, office, mixed use, MSI Realty. Again, msirealtyvt.com. And we love MSI. You know, MSI is up there in Morrisville, and they also they are manufacturing. There are a lot of job opportunities at MSI, Manufacturing Solutions Incorporated, and they're just really doing great things in the world. So thank you very much, MSI. Let's just jump right ahead. That's great. Well, to me, it's interesting. Let's jump right ahead to the silver medal run in the Olympics, your second Olympics.
Yeah.
And your second Olympics, more familiarity with the process now that it's your second Olympics. You're 4 years older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Definitely. I mean, the Olympics are so different from any other race or experience that you get as a skier and as an athlete. A lot more attention. There's a lot more seclusion with it too. Like, you're very cut off from the rest of the world with, like, there's only so many people that are competing. There's only so many, select staff. Everything is like provided for you, all your meals, anything you would ever need right there for you. And so it really allows you to kind of be in the moment and be excited, but also like, it's a good time to focus on the reason why you're there, which is the athletics.
Oh yeah.
And Beijing was unique where we had never, usually they have test events, but because of COVID, our test event for the track in Beijing, it didn't happen. And so everyone was very much on like, trying to figure out both the hill itself and the snow. Cause Beijing's like, at least where we were, was more or less a desert, but a high desert. So like very, very, very dry snow, very aggressive snow. Not a lot of natural snow. And, you have to always adapt your equipment to that. So it was a very like foreign situation to, I think, a lot of us. And we were all just trying to like figure out how to make our equipment work in that environment.
You having good training runs and
Well, I was coming like in my head, this is going back to like the skier that I believed I was, which was, that podium in Gardena, winning Bormio, believing that I was capable to, win races. But I had kind of started my season off in a good spot, and then it went through a little bit of a lull in January. And honestly, specifically, like really struggled in Kitzbühel, which was kind of like obviously coming back from an injury in that environment, disappointing, but more so just didn't feel in touch with my equipment. And so I kind of went through this like I was in a very frustrated spot, which I think most athletes experiencing, they go through and they work through it. And I came to this kind of conclusion that like I needed to get back to a more simpler setup. And so I went to Beijing with an entirely new pair of boots and was like, I'm just going to make these boots work. Mm-hmm. And the first couple of days, like the snow's different, but like it felt so weird. And I was just like trust it. Like basically I was like going back to a more neutral canting, which for people that don't know, I mean, your boots are usually like, you want your boots to be in line with the way your body moves. So like your foot and ankle, and then also your knee, to make sure that, driving forward, the boot moves forward and then the ski picks up. You can adjust the canting, which will like, if you adjust your boots out, it actually makes your edges more aggressive. So like picking up earlier. All this going back to just like, I wanted to, start more baseline because I didn't feel like it was working. And so I went to China with a brand new pair of boots, softer boots, hoping to kind of figure it out. And through that process, I mean, we showed up, I don't know, it might've been like a week before first training run, maybe not quite that, but a good amount of time to kind of get used to the venue, work on the training, get used to how the setup is. And so I had a little bit of time and felt like that through that whole time was like slowly building. And then the first training run started, didn't ski great in the training run, but felt like I was feeling more comfortable in these boots. And then, went to the downhill race, like just exciting to race in Olympic downhill. Honestly, it's one of the coolest events I think you can take part in.
Yeah.
And I felt like I skied well. I ended up getting 14th, which at the time, like actually gave me a lot of confidence that I was like, I'm on the right track. And so by the time the Super G rolled around, which was either 1 or 2 days after that, I was in like a very like, I honestly don't care how the day goes. I just want, like, I believe in my skiing and I'm going to commit fully to my skiing and trust that. And, you know, let things happen.
What number did you go down?
I was number 14.
Huh.
Yeah. And I was right behind Matthias Meyer, bib 13. And I mean, like, I just remember being in the start and being so focused on like what I was going to do the first skate and then letting everything else happen. That was kind of like what I wanted to do. Like, you know, get the right line and then and go and ski. And I mean, my run itself was very present, you know, just feeling what I was doing with my turns, how I was moving, very dynamic, very connected to the hill. There's one turn that over a blind terrain felt like I kind of overskied it. And I was kind of like, oh, like, you know, can't get that back, but like recognize, you know, keep moving. And then got into the pitch, which was kind of like one of the last sections of the course, and just like had so much fun, felt very like fluid down it. And I was like, oh, this is like going really, like, I feel that I'm skiing well. This is nice. But also sometimes as a skier, you don't actually know if you're skiing fast. You can ski well, but not fast. And so
like I did good on the test and you did bad, or I did suck you on a test, you got an A.
Yeah, totally. And then the last kind of key section was this one double. You're like coming off the pitch into this gully, and then it's just flat all the way to the finish. Oh. And so I like really just, you know, I was like, all right, just like get, you know, keep driving to the front, get to the ski early. And then before I knew it, I was on the flat, and you're just tucking like pretty much the race is over. Not a lot of time to like think, and came over this last left foot little jump and then just straight shot to the finish. And I feel like in the tuck, I was like, all right, like I feel like I finally skied how I wanted to, like accept that and be thankful for that, like regardless of how the results are, you know, like appreciate that moment of, you know, putting yourself out there, committing to something, and, you know, I feel like truly expressing that. And so then I crossed the line and was like, all right, like took a little moment, because once you see your time, then it's like, you know, whether you're 15th or you're 4th or you're winning, right? That like totally changes that moment of how you feel. And so I kind of wanted to like hold on to that as long as possible before like coming back to earth. The crazy part was like coming down and then being like second place. I think the first thing I actually saw was that I was in the red. So I was like, all right, I didn't win. Like,
oh, right.
You know, but then I saw like 0.04 and I was like, huh, that's like not a lot of time. That's wild. And then saw second and I was like, oh, wow. I'm also, to kind of little background, I'm not the type of person to like be in the start watching every guy. I like to just go out and kind of experience a course as if it were like totally new. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you watch different racers, obviously you get an advantage because you see how things are skiing, but sometimes based on what they do, they like make a little mistake here or something there, then that kind of like affects how you ski it, even though you don't need that information.
I mean, you've been training on the hill.
Exactly.
So you go by that. Yeah.
So that was, I like didn't know how anyone else didn't know any results.
And then how many racers after you that could actually be you?
Yeah. So
6?
No, I would say realistically, there were, 15, 17, 19, 3 guys that were for sure ranked ahead of me. There could have been 3 more that could have been ranked ahead of me. And then the next 10, I mean, so yeah, 14 guys realistically could have done it, but the top 20, the way that the start order is structured, that's like, you know, 95% of the time are going to be the guys.
It's like, man, I'd like to have hold this, and it did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I mean, obviously a special moment, definitely like a lot kind of coming all together.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I always say, tell the people, you're not supposed to say, well, you can say whatever you want, but like when I'm on stage, I am telling the people, but here I'm like, some people don't know what the significance of that 50 years before what had happened, happened 50 years before in the Olympics in Sapporo, Japan.
Yeah, that was my mom's own Olympic experience, winning the Olympic slalom.
Gold medal.
Yeah, gold medal. Yeah.
From Richmond, Vermont.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that was like also a full culmination of her, you know, upbringing and that experience of, you know, growing together with her family, like her siblings, her dad, my grandfather was her coach, and like all that, you know, allowed her that opportunity and she fully took advantage of it.
Yeah. So you're literally, it was 50 years later.
Yeah.
And you win a silver.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. So then now we'll go to, we don't get to have those moments. I guess some people have a kid or whatever they have, so now you're on, I mean, the Olympics, right? You're on the podium, you're second place, you get the thing. And, you're just living it as the moment comes, man.
Totally.
You're not.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it from outside, or are you right in?
I feel like I was pretty present with the award ceremony. A lot of it doesn't feel real in a way because it's like,
it's cool, man.
Like you're there, but you've never experienced anything like it. So everything is so new. But it's also so simple at the same time, right? Like it's just someone handing you a piece of metal. And so like when you get like down to like arbitrariness of it, it feels, yeah, I mean, you in a way want it to feel like massive, but going through it, it also kind of, it was normal in a way too, which I think is nice. Because I think it's hard when you have these like massive, lifetime achievements or moments that you build it up so much in your head beforehand, and then you experience it and you're kind of like, oh, that wasn't quite what I was imagining. And I think it's nice that it wasn't like, a massive endorphin rush and like just feeling like on cloud nine. I felt like very normal through it. And that was, yeah.
Who just from a fundamental standpoint, who is in charge of saying, Ryan, it's unbelievable, bad. You're going to have some text messages and call mom and all that stuff. But who's in charge of saying, okay, we have NBC at 8 o'clock. We have, CBS, blah, blah, blah. They want you there. Who's in charge of that? Or are you like just going, oh, NBC, yeah, I can be over?
No, we always have a team manager that helps with that, all of that stuff. And because of the time change too, it was like I had a lot of interviews right after the race who were kind of doing like on spot interviews. And then you go do a press conference, like all the medalists are doing this. And so we do a press conference together. And then after that, there's actually like, went through doping, had to go through your testing. And then I went back to the athlete village and had actually a little bit of downtime because you're waiting for like morning time in New York, which is when a lot of press kind of like when the TV shows start.
Right.
And so I didn't, I kind of came down from that whole experience. And then later in the evening, that was like when I think I went on, I don't know if it was Today Show or one of those. So there's like another couple media opportunities, but all of that's like, it's kind of crazy, like so figured out before in terms of like, if you medal, they have everything lined up.
Sure.
Like they're like the US team is planning on people to medal. And so then it's basically like, you're just getting inserted into the spot that they have the full gamut planned for.
When you got back to the Olympic Village, you're staying in a room or something. What did you do? This is just like such specific. What did you do with that medal thing? Did you just like, because it is now, I just want to, okay, cool, man. I'll just put that, I don't want to lose that, but I'll put that there. Or were you like, oh, geez, this is kind of important. I got to show it in the TV things and everything. Or I would have given it to someone. Would you that was
for me. I think when you get back to everyone's there. So the whole team, like all Alpine Team USA that's in the village at the time are there. And so like, I think there is, the excitement. A lot of people come over, like, you're like, here's the, feel the medal. Here's the medal. So you kind of pass it around. There was a time though, that I do remember when a lot of that kind of like subdued and we were back in my room, which was split, like Bryce and I. How did that work? Because Tommy came in too. So there must have been 3 beds. And I just remember we were sitting there. And so this is also like COVID China where everything is locked down, very restricted. And I'm not like, I'm not much of a partier, don't drink a lot of alcohol. Like we'll have a beer once.
Tommy is the guy, right? You said Tommy came in?
Tommy came in like later in the GS, so I don't think he was actually. Tommy Ford. Yeah,
people.
He was one of my roommates later on, but I think it was just Bryce Bennett and I in the
partying, but you're not.
No. So it like because of COVID, there was no partying. I just remember the servicemen somehow there was like a direct there was a fence line that like we could go into the servicemen like where our skis and stuff are, but they couldn't come to our athlete village, and so they had beer. And I remember Bryce grabbed like a Corona. I think it was a Corona. or maybe 2, and brought it back to the room. He's like, you just won an Olympic medal. Like, you have to have a beer. So it was just him and I, and then our PT at the time, Kaylin Ciccone. I think the 3 of us were just in the room, just drinking a beer, like it was like celebratory, but also kind of like, in a way, like letting, like calming down too. And it was actually like, it was a nice moment too, like before all the like noise of everything too, kind of just like feeling the accomplishment and the joy, and like celebrating too with my teammate.
Good and You, the video podcast, is sponsored by Vermont Glove. Now, these aren't brand new Vermont gloves. These are Vermont gloves I've had for years and years and years. Been in the grime and the dirt and the tikis and the underbrush. Vermont Glove are goats. They're made in Randolph, Vermont, and they're a 100-year-old company, and you want some Vermont gloves. They also got ones for skiing uphill. They also got ones where you can pick up a dime. They also got liners. But vermontglove.com, get on their website, and you'll see Sam Hooper there, and you can order them up. No, these are, but by the way, you want some of these, but also they're wicked, 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 wicked good presents. So vermontglove.com. Thank you, Vermont Glove. See you down in Randolph. But let's talk, just because you mentioned it, a little about, I don't think we've ever talked about how much, how much do you drink? So like, what are your ideas about alcohol? Alcohol use. I was talking to somebody today the other day was saying, like, they're saying, he's an older guy. They're saying like even 1 drink a day. Not so bad. So I might have every once in a while. I just did, my whole life didn't drink.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And it's served me well.
Yeah, totally.
What's your deal on that? If you don't mind my sharing, you don't have to.
No, absolutely. I think like, I enjoy having like a glass of wine, like with dinner, or like a beer, but because of skiing, I've definitely noticed the like impact, even just 1 beer, like how much I don't sleep as well, and like that impact. And I feel like I don't have a huge craving for it these days. So I'm like, I'm totally happy hanging out at dinner if like my friends are having a beer, and I'm like easy to order a water. And I feel like I go through periods too where it's like, there's been times in my career when I like would have a beer with, my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like following my own, I don't know, like feeling like, am I really going to enjoy this beer, or am I drinking the beer because everyone, like socially, if they're all doing it, right? And overcoming that like social pressure. I think I've become more like, oh, actually, I don't think that would actually like add to like my enjoyment of this situation. I'm okay.
Yeah. This gal, my girlfriend at the time, we would talk about it, and it's like it diminishes. Like, it's a depressant.
Yeah.
So why are we all doing it? I've talked a lot about that with certain people.
Yeah.
But and to each his own. Hey, man,
absolutely,
go for it. I understand. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. But it served me well. Obviously, you're not puffing out us. I've asked you going to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Yeah.
I've never ever done that.
I will most things I'm not that like gung ho about. I will say my like vice is definitely sweets, like ice cream. I love ice cream, and I like have a hard time turning it down, which I'm not like, I would say overly consuming sugar is probably just as bad as having a beer, like in terms of like consuming alcohol. Yeah. So I'm not, and I don't want to like, I do think it's like, whatever you
don't sound righteous.
No. Okay. Yeah. I do not want to be righteous at all, because I think like makes people happy. Obviously, like you should fulfill that.
You don't sound righteous, because you're a professional athlete. Yeah. It's interesting what you ingest, and I'll ask you more. But let's talk a little bit more about diet and health. But I want to ask before I forget it. Oh, yeah. So a lot of people think. I hate when I say that. How the hell do I know how many people think? But there is a thought out there that when the Olympics come around, summer, winter, you're up there. And man, Michaela Schifrin is the perfect example. Yeah. She didn't have a great Olympics last time, let's just say.
Totally.
And nor one time did Lindsay. Well, nor one time did Bodie. And came back and kicked. But you've already had a great one, or maybe 2. But given it's you guys have the World Cup, and girls, it's this whole season. And I think a lot of Americans, especially with the Winter Olympics, are kind of like, oh, man, he's from Vermont. Cool, man. And then that's it. And if you don't do well at the Olympics, you got maybe the World Championships the following year. You got the World Cup. You got to finish it out. So coming down to this question, if you had to choose, would you choose first place World Cup, the Hahnenkamm, or this year Olympics, a gold medal in the downhill? I mean, you could only choose one. It's just a game.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. Those are very like either of those.
Comparable.
Yeah.
Comparables.
I would say quite comparable. I would slight on the Olympic gold medal. And I would say I bet Bryce would say winning the Hahnenkamm. So it's definitely like dependent on which skier you are.
Would you say Olympic gold medal because maybe your mom would want to go?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think after getting second by 400ths and then my mom having won it, there is like a certain like, she still gets to hold that and not in like a very playful way, like hold that over me. So, with that regard, then like that accomplishment. But I think also just like what that would mean for our country and our team. There would be a lot of impact with that.
Because World Cup is more obscure. You win the Hahnenkamm and it's cool and everything, but actually for the country.
Yeah, because there's so much more attention during that time. And like downhill, I do like that's the thing about like downhill and Super G. I think downhill is such a more truer, pure event, right? It's been going on since the beginning of ski racing, whereas Super G got added, I think, in the 80s or something. So it's kind of like a little bit more obscure. Like people, if you say you race downhill, I think people understand. Whereas if you say Super G, they're probably a little like if they don't know, they're probably a little unsure. And so in my head, like that is, one of the premier events of the Olympics, the way that I see it. Like,
when I was a kid, I mean, Franz Klammer and then number 15.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And yeah. It's a huge thing. It's like Bernie Sanders would be like, oh, good, Ryan, you won the gold. But if you win a Hahnenkamm, he might not even.
Yeah, totally. Know. Yeah. I will also say like, because I raced in Korea.
Not that I'm political. I don't know shit about it. No.
In Korea, I raced the downhill, and in Beijing, I raced the downhill. And I've raced the Bormio downhill, which is where the Olympics will be. And each track has their cool, unique features. In terms of like the demand and, the difficulty of the tracks, Bormio is for sure. I think like the reason why I think it's such a cool opportunity this season is because not only is it one of the most difficult World Cup tracks in the world, it's also becoming an Olympic venue now too. And that usually like that happens so rarely. It's like Innsbruck in 76. I mean, we don't run that downhill anymore, but that like was, front and center.
That was Palmer.
Yes, exactly. And like a historic run, like
everyone
kind of,
I can see it.
Yes, man. Exactly. I kind of can see Bormio becoming that because between Kitzbühel and Bormio, those are the two most challenging downhills every single year we go to. And this year, I hope that I will be there, but it's now the Olympics, which is, it does have more meaning. It has more interest.
Jesus, bro, I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know that. And you've done well at Bormio.
Yeah. And I feel like
a lot of places.
Again, like have a good track record there and like a good kind of understanding of the hill, which is why I'm excited. Because I do feel like that hill, speaks to me in a certain way. And so
for who knows why.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta get a million. This could be like a 5-hour thing. What about food? You say you like sweets. I also like sweets.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that sweets do to me. And it's basically, it makes me feel like I just ate a sweet. You know what I mean? It's just basically, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But I like them. And, what do you eat? You're like, what are you, 6 foot?
Yeah.
210 during the season?
Probably 210 during the season. Yeah. I don't know what I weigh right now. I bet might be slightly under that. I lost a little bit of weight this spring, but I've regained it since my last training.
So let's be specific. How will you regain? I don't know how many 3 pounds. How will you regain that? You want that to be muscle.
Yeah, you definitely want it to be muscle, but I just try to eat what I can put down. Leaning.
Are you real
protein
specific on diet stuff?
Not I think thinking about it more of on a macro scale, like when I sit down for dinner, making sure that I, have some type of protein,
Sure.
Limiting, processed foods,
Yep.
Trying to get a good balanced intake of fruits and vegetables, that type of thing. Not so much gluten, but also like I enjoy having like a, little bit of ice cream at the end too. So
you're not sending away for specific things, measuring specific things. You obviously inertly know your calorie intake, basically how much output you're doing in a day. So you're not like gaining 17 pounds off.
Yeah, totally.
But healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Tomato season and everything's coming.
It does. I mean, through a season too, like we're basically living hotel to hotel through the winter. And it's all like either hotel buffet or hotel food provided to us. So it's very like we have we could go out and go to a restaurant to eat, but at the same time, it's kind of more or less all the same. So that through an entire season, like I've noticed at times I've been like heavier than I was expecting just because, you do eat quite a bit.
But now heavier as an American downhill, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be a bad thing.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's a gravity sport. So like body comp really doesn't, there's all types of bodies that are successful.
That are doing well.
Yeah.
Right. 6'7".
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably 230. So on the skinnier side, but he's pretty fit. He's pretty lean.
That's tall, man. It's 7 inches taller than you.
Versus my teammate, Kyle Negamir, who's, I don't know what, he's probably 5'8" and like 195, but like not stocky, but like very fit, incredibly athletic. But the difference between the two, and they're skiing the same events, is like mind-boggling for sure.
Physical body was a 6'3".
Yeah.
220.
Yeah, he was pretty athletic, I would say. Yeah.
Wicked.
I think like toward the end, he might have been a little bit lighter than that, but I bet like in his like, not peak, I think he had such a long peak, but like when he won the overall, I bet he was, closer to 220.
Won a couple overalls, no?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen him lately? He's really thin, right?
I haven't seen him in person. No, I know. In a person, I haven't seen him in
he's really
a couple years, I think. But I bet. I feel like it's hard to maintain. Yeah, totally. When I'm done skiing, I think I'll probably lose a couple pounds, hopefully, just because the amount of muscle mass you need, I don't think is great long-term for health. I think it's good to be strong, but it's not necessary to be, Hulk Hogan, or not Hulk. I know he just passed, so that was like a bad time, or like a big beefy guy through you.
No, I hear. Yeah. And then just, people, I mean, you're a professional athlete, so you got to ask this. By the way, these are your sponsors' shoes. Like, we want to talk about sponsors too, but we have to ask about what do you off-season training? You go away a couple times. You just got back from a place. You're going to go to another place before you go away for good in October. Mm-hmm. What do you do daily? Kind of.
It's dependent on the time of year. So skiing is very cyclical. Each season is actually more or less the same in terms of like, we're always skiing World Cup during the race season from say November through end of March. Sorry. And then, every 4 years, the Olympics right in the middle in February. And then both years sandwiching that, we have world champs, which are honestly formatted very similar. So in terms of travel and our time focusing on skiing, it's broken down between those months. And then we always go through a recovery phase in April into the beginning of May. And that's then we jump back into building our strength back up, getting back into shape. And that's just a lot of Olympic lifting, squatting.
You have a thing you're looking at. They want you to
There's a program, right? Yeah. The ski team, they have trainers that will write the program. And so a lot of people will spend time in Park City. I've done that in the past. The past few years, I've been working out in Vermont on my own. But it's all the work you put in the summer is the reward you get out in the winter. So there's always motivation for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you want to get a drink of water there, dude?
Yeah.
Let me read here. And yet, what town in Vermont were you born in, or where you grew up in?
Grew up in Starksboro.
Right.
Have you've been to all the towns in Vermont, right?
Well, no, I'm not a 251. I think it's 252 now because Essex did you know that?
Oh yeah,
Essex did some weird thing.
Yeah.
But and I'm not a guy that kept, I didn't know. It's like you kind of. I was just doing my thing, man.
Yeah.
Doing my thing. I wasn't like, hey, I'm going all over the state. I'm going to mark them down.
Yeah.
I've been to many of them. I mean, if you're telling me you're going somewhere, I say, oh, I hope that place is there. It's a great sandwich place, But Starksboro, for me, is famous because That's where Vermont Frames is, and that's who did my barn.
Yes,
that's why Starksboro's famous. But is there even for people that are in Tokyo right now listening to this? Is there even a store in Starksboro?
Well, there's the Jerusalem store, which is in South Starksboro. But the way Starksboro is set up is like I probably 15-20 minutes away from that, whereas I was 5 minutes from like the Starksboro that I think of as like central Starksboro, where the elementary school is.
Tell people what's Starksboro near the nearest town that they would know. So Burlington is 25 minutes.
Yeah, to the north. Yeah. I always say it's kind of sandwiched between Bristol and Heinsberg for people that are familiar with Vermont. If not, then I'll say, a little bit east and north of Middlebury, or use Burlington as reference.
So that's where you did most of your growing up.
Yeah.
And so high school was in Bristol.
Yeah, I went to so elementary school
Mount Abe.
Went to Mount Abe in Bristol for high school.
There was one thing I was thinking about you and reading was, and I think Michaela Schifrin talks about this a lot, and her mom and dad, her dad is not around anymore, but that sometimes your mom and you would go and watch a race, or you went to see Jimmy racing in the NORAMs, and you would skip some races because sometimes not racing every week, you learned more watching and getting a vibe of that. That was. I mean, I took that from.
I don't know if I definitely for sure went to races. Like I remember watching Jimmy when he was skiing for UVM. This is my older cousin Jimmy, Jimmy Cochran. And we were down in Middlebury watching the Middlebury Carnival and watching him race there. And I feel like we went to the Dartmouth Carnival once too. So, but I don't know that I ever would have not gone to a race in order to watch. All right, I believe that Michaela would have done that though, because I feel like she definitely had a very unique upbringing.
Right. The story goes, I think, instead of going to every race, they just went up there and just like turned, did turns.
Yeah.
And it was, well, your mom, is she a sports psychologist?
Yes. So she's not like, she never got a degree in it, but she's like a sports consultant. So she helps athletes with kind of the mental side of things.
Will she be called in between runs from a skier? I do my first run in slalom and there's a long wait. And then I might call, if I work with your mom, I might say, man, I'm freaking out here.
Yeah, I think if there's like kind of that like emergency situation, then she would definitely pick up her phone. I think it's more where she'll be working on an athlete like between races or between series, and trying to just like explain or teach different skills that kind of help get your mind right and how to what elite performance looks like for each individual.
So being your mom, she's your mom. So you're a mom, you have a kid and you're teaching them everything. Do you guys specifically talk about that? Does she go, no, right? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no.
Talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, my entire time growing up, she was always working with athletes, doing what she's been doing. I mean, I don't know how long she's been doing it, like 40, 50 years, probably more. And, my experience was always, I was often like, off in the background as she was giving a talk to like, say, a field hockey team or an athlete. Like,
oh, you were hearing it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I was always hearing it, but I was also not a part of it. And I think even just like what she teaches is so much about of kind of her process and what she went through as an athlete when she was competing. And so I feel like I picked up on a lot of those nuances, like, having a positive mindset. Being in the right mind space, like, these types of things. She always talks about quartiles in terms of like, high energy, low energy, positive, negative. So like best way to perform is when you're in a high energy, positive mindset, the upper quartile. And so those things like I've learned because I've been like exposed to it, but I don't know that we've ever had like a one-on-one session.
Well, I don't know that like a general therapist is like saying to their kid, okay, come on, we got one after you. Sit down, Joe.
Yeah.
So
I think that would be tough. Yeah.
So what's your problem with me? Yeah. It makes sense. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. But I also think like growing up with her, she was always mom first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know her as my mom the same way that like you would know your parents. And so then like skiing and her consulting like was always secondary to that. So I think so much of like who I am today, who my sister is today, is because of exposure to her. Not
every moment that you're with your mom. Hopefully, if you got a good mom, and most people do. I hope. Oh, what do you do in a specific? What do you do specific? We're talk about exercise specifically for the legs and the core strength. Because I don't know, again, if a lot of people know about ski racing, but you're literally, your skis are basically, you could say your skis are over here. And then you have legs, and the legs are here. And then your bottom, the snow's here. This is like there. So your legs are over here, your butt's here, and your head's over here, your shoulders here. How does that happen? And what do you do specifically? Or is that just over the years you've gained that? Or you're like home right now doing,
I would say a lot of years of growing up skiing helps with that. I mean, probably around the age of 15, I started doing more of like a physical training program outside of skiing. And that progressed throughout the years. Once I made the national team, then it was definitely far more formalized with the movements that we're doing. A lot of, again, like Olympic lifting, squatting, leg press, deadlift, those types of movements. Basically just high load, trying to build muscle mass.
And that action is not just about strength. That action is about everything.
Mind,
technique.
The timing of it.
And thousands of runs.
Yeah. I think skiing is enough of a skill-based sport. And this is like my own perception of it, because I've never viewed myself as like physically that impressive. I think I have a lot of athletic skill and good like hand-eye coordination, but my power or my strength is like the numbers would not impress most people. But I feel like I'm able to make up for it for my technique and my ability and my coordination. So a lot of that is just like the repetition of making a turn, from the age of, I learned to ski when I was 2. So probably making those types of turns when I was 5 years old up until 33. So the last,
like this, that Alex killed that guy. Yes. He's like a monster.
He's incredibly, incredibly powerful, very fit. And I mean, also works incredibly hard too. So,
is he going to ski this year, man?
I hope so. I think we're supposed to have a training camp with the Norwegians in a couple weeks. So I'm excited to see him. And I got to see him. He was at a couple races last year. I think he was in Kitzbühel.
He was at Beaver Creek, dude.
He was at Beaver Creek. Yeah. So maybe he wasn't in Kitzbühel last year, but in Beaver Creek and skiing around. But that was I think his most recent operation. But everything I've heard is, he's on track. So it'll be good to have him back.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like right up at the fence, right? And he was standing over there by a bunch of guys. I think you came down already. Was the first day of the downhill?
Yes. So. Yeah.
And he all of a sudden sees somebody in the crowd behind me. Alex killed it. People don't know. He's like, like these guys are like big time stars.
Yeah.
And he's walking. And I'm like, that dude's coming out into the audience, man. And I could definitely just go up to him and say, hey, man, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Here's a weird one. First of all, what's the best hotel you stay in? That's not the weird one, but what's the best hotel you stay in? You've been all over the world, obviously, many times.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, sometimes the hotels change, sometimes they're the same. One of the best hotels that I've been able to stay in would be in Val d'Isère, the Le Blizzard. But that's only for people that are racing GS, so I don't get to stay there anymore, unfortunately. It's super cozy. It's always pre-Christmas, so you kind of have those like Christmas vibes. It smells really nice and the food's unbelievable. That always like is my premier hotel that I think of. One of the best hotels, honestly, like, is in Gardena, and it's not, and we always say this, it's not because it's like fancy or like over the top. It's like not at all. Like the lobby is what the lobby has been for the last 40 years, like not updated, but the owners there are incredibly nice and always so friendly. And I think it's one of those places that when you get there, you feel like you're back home. So that actually is one of the better ones too. And for like, reasons that you would not think, like, yeah.
When I went to Beaver Creek, did you stay at the Pines?
Yep, we stayed at the Pines.
I was there too, and I didn't know. And then all of a sudden, I just looked at the Pines. Sounds good. And then there was all these ski guys around,
Yeah.
And it was cool. And I thought the food there was pretty good.
So you were not eating the food that we get, because were you eating in the?
Oh yeah, you guys, like, the team is back there.
Yeah, we have the team food, which is I think that's like all provided by Vail Valley Foundation, who like puts on the race. So the food's a little bit different, but I think the Pines, I mean, that's an awesome hotel. And it's like you can walk to the ski hill, which is great, having access close.
I mean, I got the idea from you over the years here that when you're in these hotels, you're kind of eating the hotel food.
Yeah.
But not at the Pines.
So for whatever reason, Beaver Creek's set up different where it's not their actual hotel. Like they have, I mean, people come in and provide us. And it's funny because it's the first time I was there was, I think, 2011. And it's the exact same menu every year. Like, which is fine. It's good. It's
La Blizzard. I have to go to La Blizzard, man.
La Blizzard's a pretty. The Cambrian in Adelboden is also another 5-star hotel. But a lot of the times that we're going to these places, we're not staying at 5-star hotels. I will say, like more, standard, normal.
So send in a donation. Yeah. Go to the December big goal. Now there's a religious. Do you follow any particular religion thing? You don't have to divulge this, or and you're comfortable. It's not like are you like with this or that, or reading the scripture and this is what I need to do in life?
No, I definitely.
What this person says to me.
I would say that I'm not a religious person. I mean, I grew up practicing like Christian holidays, so like Easter, Christmas, and I think we still, like, as a family, we still celebrate those, and not because of like my religious following. It's more because it's a family tradition, which I think that's like when I love holidays the most. Mm-hmm. I do think like it's interesting because I've never felt that I'm very spiritual, but I do feel like part of religion is about your like inner guidance. And so I feel like there's certain, elements of different religions that like are actually really powerful that I haven't like fully learned or embraced yet. But the more of like staying present, I feel like that's like the most, powerful. Present and also being a good person and treating people also.
Yeah, I think
that's my religion,
Yeah, and I think that's what religion is, but I think there are certain ways to go about it, and certain religions say this is the way to go about that, and if you don't,
then you're a sinner. Yeah.
Being a nice person, that's always a good thing. Nerves change from day to how is the being in the starting gate? It's not the gate, starting thing.
Yeah, starting gate.
Starting gate.
We call it a gate. Yeah, it doesn't make sense though, because or like start house, but yeah.
Changed since I guess we could say 2011 or something, when you're actually not a kid racing, but when you get into some really serious racing. Do you still? People ask me all the time, do you get nervous? They ask me that all the time, and it's like totally different. I say no. I don't get. I think you're talking about that thing when you're feeling like you want to throw up and everything. I said no, but I'm never. When I go in front of people, 200 people, whatever, 3, 4, 17, I never know if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So it's not an anxiety at all, but it's a not overconfidence. So I'm in a zone. I'm starting the day before, thinking about it. When I'm driving there, I ain't just going, yeah, man, it's gonna be funny. So what's your thing on that? When you were a kid, you're probably, I'm not a kid, but really young. You're probably really nervous, right?
Yeah. And
that changed?
The nerves, I think it's been rare that I've actually experienced like nervousness, like from childhood up to now. With ski racing, I think I've always like been excited. And there's been times when I've been like more excited, less excited. But I totally understand. I think now it's like, when I was a kid, I would start thinking about the race, the drive up to the hill, right? Like a couple hours before. Now it's like, I'm thinking about the race, like thoughts of how to ski Beaver Creek or how to ski Kidsville will pop up into my mind in the middle of the summer. And like, in a way, that's kind of like that preparation beginning.
Yeah, man.
And so I think your attention starts drawing to it as you get closer. Like in November, when we're preparing for Beaver Creek, like starting to go analyzing video, like kind of familiarizing myself with the track. And then for sure that week leading up to it, like your focus and your attention starts being fully about what you're going to do when you're in the start gate. And I think doing that like allows yourself so that when you are finally there, like then you're in a way just going through the motion, and you're not like, I don't know, romanticizing that. You're very like, all right, I'm here now. I've been preparing for this. Like it's time to ski. And then when you're skiing too, right, you're like fully focused on the skiing, versus when I was younger and first starting to ski World Cup. so much of it was new in the sense like being around, the top World Cup skiers and being like I idolized these guys for the last few years, and now I'm standing right there inspecting a course with them. Like that, like is such a big change. And
that's cool.
Yeah. And also the like just the way that the World Cups are set up, like all the advertising, the banners, right? You get to keep your own bib. Like going to the start, knowing that your bib's going to be there instead of having to bring your bib to the start. Those types of things kind of like I wasn't used to it. So then it wasn't normalized. And then it kind of like made me aware that I was skiing a World Cup. Whereas nowadays, because I've skied enough of them, I'm very comfortable in that situation and like in that environment that I don't feel like I don't belong. I feel like I'm just, me doing what I've always been doing.
Anything at all in the morning of a race? I mean, because the Olympics, well, this is another question. It'd be a different question. The Olympics, the whole America's watching. Because I'm in any kind of I don't want to call it a zone, but mindset the morning of a race. Not that you're not going to talk to Bryce. Hey, Bryce, man, those eggs were good. Hey, how you doing? How you feeling about turn 2, the Schlockenschlee or whatever, but yet you wouldn't want to take a call.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to like the cab driver, the van driver, you just kind of get in there and the van driver, hey, Ryan, hey, man. Do you get into that thing? It's not nerves. It's a different thing.
It's definitely a different thing.
Whatever.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a certain level of like professionalism and like
great way of putting it, man.
Yeah, a way that you're dedicating your energy for that specific task. That I try to be present enough so that I know like, the point of today is to go out and to perform and like try to pursue your own excellence. And in order to do that, you have to build up to that mentally. And I think like as I age, I can also get to a place where I don't feel like I have to be, like so zoned in,
right.
Eating breakfast with my teammates, right? Like we can have a fun time. And honestly, sometimes when we are like a little bit more at ease, like even if it's just leading up to the race,
part of that.
Yeah. And like, there's a little bit of like, we're all, you feel the like nerves and the severity of, hucking yourself down a mountain strapped to like 2-meter long skis going
pajamas.
Yeah. Yeah. Going 80 miles per hour. Like it's a very high risk sport. There's a lot that could go wrong, but also just like embracing that and being like, all right, like it is what it is.
Good to be relaxed.
Yeah.
But you're hooked onto something. I'm the same way. My thing is dangerous, of course, but I'm hooked onto it, man. And I can go outside it, but I'm still hooked on to
totally.
that.
Oh yeah. That's like, it's like an obsession, but I think in a healthy way where you're just, your mind, instead of like being distracted all the time where your mind's like constantly going away, it seems like it's like a way of centering your mind where, you have this one focus and like goal that you're committing to that you kind of like, it brings you back. I feel like
I like that whole feeling.
Yeah.
It could be for me for big shows or something. I like that whole feeling. And then after you do it, you feel like that was all part of it. And it was a success.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah. I think it's like you have a defined purpose, right? That's like
right.
The like bottom line and having that so key.
Good News is brought to you by Vermont Artisan Coffee and Teas. That's the big red barn between Waterbury and Stowe on your left if you're going toward Stowe. The other side if you're going toward Waterbury from Stowe. Coffee, teas, micro brews, pour-overs, cappuccino at their cafe. Espressos, lattes. I'm there every day. It's like it's a European style coffee bar, but they also retail and wholesale. So Artisan Coffee. This here is Mocha Java and Sumatra. You wish you were smelling what I'm smelling. It's Vermont Artisan Coffee and Teas. Right between Waterbury and Stowe. Look for them. We're going. We got more here, man. Wrigley. How's old Wrigley, your dog?
He's good.
Tell the people who Wrigley is.
Wrigley is my and my fiance's dog. Golden Retriever. Well, half Golden Retriever, half Irish Setter. He's 2.5 years old now.
Yeah, I never asked you this. Is that your first dog? Jesse's also now.
Well, always grew up with dogs with our family.
Right.
First dog was Coco. She was just a mutt, terrified of thunderstorms. And then we had Amiga and Buddy. Miga was kind of like a husky. And
that was a family dog.
Yeah, these were all like dogs that I had with my sister and my mom. And then Buddy was a black lab that my sister got out of high school. So those are kind of like the key dogs. And I've always loved dogs, but obviously, when you're traveling the world 6 months of the year, it's pretty difficult to have one. So, maybe 3 years ago, girlfriend at the time, now fiance, we were like, let's be crazy and get a dog. I think I persuaded her, thinking that it would be not that it'd be easy, but that it'd be manageable. And it's been manageable, but it's for sure like the skiing, being gone for skiing component of it adds complexity. Right. But we love him. He's our best little buddy.
Yeah, Wrigley's great. Oh, he's a logger. He's a little logger.
He loves logging. He loves the outdoors. He loves coming up here. Yeah.
Now, what do you do like when you're away? And Jessie doesn't. It's not like she has a 9 to 5 job.
Totally.
What do? You have the daycare thing or whatever?
Well, it depends on the situation.
His crate. He can sit in his crate.
He's actually, he is crate trained, and he like from day one was really good with it, even as a puppy. Like I did try to prepare by reading. I think I read like 3 or 4 books on kind of like how to train your dog. There's these 2 books by the monks they're monks in New York. I'm butchering the name of the books, but wonderful books, really good reads, and kind of just like talks about, what dogs go through and like kind of their process. Like you're not there. They don't understand you as their owner. They understand you as part of their pack. And so obviously you have to like provide for them what they need, like proper exercise, proper food, even their environment of sleeping. So we crate trained him from the very beginning, and he was great. He sleeps with us in bed now, but he's like, when we ship him away, like these past 3 weeks, he was at my aunt and uncle's, out in the country, loving it. But I guess
because you were away.
Yeah, I was away in Argentina. Yeah. And then Jessie was working night shifts at the hospital. So tough scheduling.
I'm thinking about getting a dog.
You should get a dog.
I've never had a dog. So my life has changed, just a little. I'm not doing as many shows. Not as particular about the house. I've been here a long time. I don't used to be like, what the cat think? I don't care what the cat thinks.
Yeah.
And I'm like learning. So one of the steps I'm taking is I applied to volunteer at NCAL, North Country Animal League right here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to study it that way. And then I'm asking my friend Eric a lot about it and study dogs. And then the people at NCAL, I'd like to get a dog that's chill, like a 3.5-year-old dog. I might get a dog, man, and have it in the seat with me and everything.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Totally. Yeah.
Be a big, because I'm similar to you with the working and everything.
Yeah. And I think that is like having people to help out is so key. And I think also Wrigley's 2.5. I hope that he lives, a good, long, healthy life. I'm assuming by the end of that, I won't still be skiing. So it's kind of like planning on, life after skiing, what I want that to look like. And
right.
So that was kind of like,
get a jump on it, man.
Yeah. Part of that. But it's been so rewarding. I mean, he's such a good dog. Obviously he's not perfect, but like such a good personality and so friendly. And I feel like one of the greatest things about having him a part of our lives is just like seeing his joy from like such little things, like being out here when we're, working the land. He's just loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Seeing that like joy.
He's cool because he'll stay with me in the barn and you'll be off on the tractor far away.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of with me looking at you.
Yep.
What if you have a kid and the kid, for some reason, I shouldn't say it this way. I could say it. Has no balance is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But wants to play the recorder or the flute. Are you cool? Or are you? I understand it's going to be kind of a weird thing if a Cochran has a child and the child isn't up there skiing on the hill, but that could happen.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that at all? Like people, well, the kid, just as long as the kid's happy, but
Yeah, no, for sure. As long as the kid's happy and like finding, what drives them, I think, and fully supporting that. I honestly I wouldn't say that I'm so far away from hopefully, starting a family, having kids. So it's definitely like you think about it a little bit more and more. I would say viewing skiing the same way that kind of like how my mom taught me to ski. Like she taught me to ski when I was 2 years old. And then she was like very hands off. Like the rest was kind of more or less on my own in terms of like pursuing it and having that drive. And I would say, embodying that same mentality, passing on. Oh, here's Michaela.
She always comes over.
Yeah.
That's something, Joe.
Passing, that knowledge, because I do think skiing there's so much opportunity in it, and it's such a cool endeavor to take on. Like, you can spend your lifetime skiing or finding a passion with skiing, but you don't have to let it define you either. So I would say trying to kind of pass that on, like making, if they want to, like letting them learn how to ski and then, see where it takes them. If they want to just be a, casual weekend skier, like all good, no pressure.
And part of the Cochran thing was you had a lot of cousins. You were kind of the youngest of that whole crew, but any child you have in the near future would have some cousins too. And they do it all together.
Yeah. And
yeah. See, Michaela always comes up right about the same time. You're a little late, Michaela. You're named after Michaela Schiffer.
Yeah.
Well, because she does slalom down my steps. Literally.
Michaela's a cat person too. She loves cats. I think she has.
Oh, Michaela. Oh, yeah. Quite a few years ago, like her, I shouldn't say. Well, I should be closer. Her cat died, and then her grandma died, and then we know.
Oh yeah.
Boy, she looks like I wouldn't want to be another female ski racer this year. She looks
fit. Yeah.
She's doing some stuff that I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And that was a weird injury she had.
Yes,
really
very abnormal.
Yeah. She came back, man, and she had the PSD. Now, okay, here's one of those things that people do that's annoying and stupid, but kind of fun, because I did it with someone on a podcast, and people liked it. So this is, I say, the one thing or the other thing, and you choose the one you like.
Yeah.
And we might have other questions too, Wrigley. Come right for you. Oh, what's 44? Well, I'll ask that after a couple of these, and then we'll go. Spaghetti or filet steak?
Spaghetti.
Oh, yeah?
I enjoy filet, but I try not to eat so much red meat. And I was just down in Argentina for 3 weeks. And so I feel like that's like all we ate. So I would say good spaghetti, I'd probably pick more so than the filet.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. For all you youngsters out there that are caught up in this, gravel bike ride or mountain bike ride?
Mountain bike ride. I think I have more fun. But gravel biking is great. The one thing, mountain biking, I can take Wrigley. So that's kind of a...
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's more like skiing, kind of.
It is. More of a flow state, yeah.
Okay, here's a no-brainer, but I'll say it anyway, and it'll prompt us for you to present what you brought. Aunt Jemima or Slopeside Pure Ryan's Run Vermont maple syrup? What'd you bring, man?
I did. I know.
Everybody.
This is actually pretty spot. Did you write that question after?
No.
Okay.
Before.
Nice. I brought you. That is for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ryan's Run. So my cousins handcrafted that for you. But yeah, I would definitely pick the pure Vermont maple syrup over Aunt Jemima's.
And it's just called Ryan's Run because it's a cool thing to call it, but there's a copy on the back. In 1961, Mickey Cochran built your mom's dad, your grandfather, built a rope tow on an old hillside farm in Richmond. His vision continued a tradition of community ski areas in Vermont. It's thriving again now. During the 1990s, Mickey's grandson, Ryan Cochran-Siegle, took up the family legacy of ski racing on that hill. 69 years after the first rope tow, RCS, we'll ask you what that means too, won a silver medal at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Enjoy this maple syrup, handpicked by Ryan from the woods around the ski area, store and cool place. Is there a Ryan's Run, or the particular run you like?
Yeah, so this is the second year or edition that we did it. We did it post Olympics, so in 2022. I think it was probably available for 2023. And I go and select like one of the like better barrels in the sugar house. And so this spring I went and did that too. And I always like I really like Golden Delicate. But
I was going to ask
you,
but that's one of these things.
I think that's Amber Rich.
Okay.
If I were to guess.
And those things,
still great syrup. Yeah.
Right. So I was going to ask you, grade A, medium amber, or B? Do you like a lot of people like the darker?
My mom's likes the darker. I like the fancy. Huh. Is it fancy get delicate? I always confuse.
They've changed. They changed.
I know.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
A few years ago. Thanks for bringing this.
Yeah.
Rosie, the hell is this? Oh, Skis, Rozzy or head? I know you can get in trouble, but
I have to say head. I ski on
what's
head.
what's the name of you guys? You're head racers, and head calls you something.
We're the rebels, head rebels.
Who are they? Are you and?
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, I think head. I don't know.
Christ, man.
Is it too sweet?
No,
too
man.
strong?
The syrup is.
I know it's so good.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Came right out of a tree. Came right out of a tree.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Top head athletes. I mean, Franjo von Allmen, the up and coming Swiss skier, he skis on head. Vincent Kriekmeyer.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Here, can I get
a little bit of that?
Yeah.
What about the American? Just
Americans. It's myself and Eric Arvidsson, and then Tommy Ford, GS, and Ben Ritchie now in slalom. We
haven't talked about sponsorships. We won't get too in depth into it, but promote your sponsors.
I am very fortunate that I have a good number of companies endorsing me. I mean, so talking about head, they provide skis, boots, bindings, and then I have a partnership as a head sponsor with Davos Malin Klosters, and so they it's like they provide a home away from home when I'm in Europe, and that's honestly, it's funny because Davos and Cochran's, you would think, are like so completely separate in terms of what they provide, but also family run operation.
I didn't know that.
It's very, obviously a bigger town, city of Davos, but very wonderful people there and incredible, beautiful mountains. So I always get to go there. But
I go there?
I think you should. I think anyone that has not been there should go, especially during the wintertime. I will say probably better to go outside of the World Economic Forum. That makes the city a little different.
Oh, that's just when I would have wanted to go, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I have heard though, it's incredibly expensive to go during that time. Like incredibly expensive, right? You're like fighting with billionaires to get hotel rooms. That's probably the best time to go for skiing because no one is skiing the slopes, ironically enough. So it's kind of like
there's probably
but the skiing. I mean, there's so much skiing there too that
the hotel is nice. I like a nice place. I like a nice place.
Really nice hotels. They have a few different options. I always stay at the Mountain Plaza. It's you're like a 10-minute walk to the tram, and they have a nice sauna, nice pool. It's really, really wonderful. Yeah. I have a lot of other sponsors too that
rip them out.
Okay. Smith for sunglasses, helmets, and goggles.
Smith.
Leaky poles and like arm guards. Royce gloves. So Slopeside, which is a great partnership. Also Slopeside and Untapped. But yeah.
Untapped.
Yep. And those. Yeah. And waffles. They make waffles too.
I eat those too, man.
Yeah, I should buy you some.
I like those snacks.
Yeah, I'll bring you a box next time I come up here.
Explain those a little bit better to people.
It's all about like your energy consumption.
No, not like the fortifyingness of it, but how it looks and where it is in stores, where they can get them.
Waffles.
Yeah.
Around here, like REI and Williston has them. A lot of small time stores also will have them.
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
And they're little packaged things.
Yeah,
little waffle things, and they're made. It's
produced right here, and I think produced right here in Williston, where their office is. But yeah, all like very simple ingredients. I don't know maple is the sugar they use.
Yeah, I like them.
I'm sure it's like flour and the flavoring for whatever, if it's the like chai waffle or
nice little snack.
Yeah, totally. It's like a light, but
maybe
gives you a
they want to bring
your step.
Maybe they want to send me some. What about Skeeta? Because you know who's coming on this?
Is Corinne?
Corinne's coming on the pod, man.
Nice. Yeah. Skeeta. I have a cool partnership. I'm actually really excited. My print for this year, which I would say that I like share a little bit of inspiration, but they honestly create so much of it, and they do such a phenomenal job. I really like. It's like this green one with a little bit of white accents to it, and a touch of kind of like Cochran's in a way. So I'm excited for that.
So there's a Skeeta, the mufflers, and then the hats, and Corinne Privat, and they're huge now. Go to skeeta.com, and every year they do a hat that Ryan helps design in a neck thing. And I get that, but also I got yours, and then I got Cochran's too.
Yeah. The sprint was cool this year too.
Left and right.
Yeah.
Man. So some I throw on for going rough and doing rough work in the barn, sweat, and puff cigar, and then the other one I'll have for nice.
Yeah. The fleece lined ones are so nice too. If it's a cold day and you're skiing and you're not sweating a lot, I feel like that one's like great. Whereas the buffs are good when you're like doing active work and kind of putting on a sweat.
I wore Skeeter right away when they came out.
Yeah.
Like women, it was just women wearing.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are cool. And I threw them on. And then the reason I met her is I haven't met her. Like last year, she's like, hey, Russ, man, thanks for wearing a hat. I'm like, yo, I know, you know, what's up? So that's cool. And what about Steel?
Yeah, Steel. They're my clothing sponsor, which has been really cool. Yeah, I mean, we're both rocking.
And they hook you up. They hook you up with some nice stuff.
Oh yeah, the clothes are great.
Hey, who shot that? Yeah, Steel. So shout out to Steel. Yeah. Who shot that thing where you're you run through the woods with Wrigley with you? It's for Steel.
Yeah, that was a film crew. We did it last, I guess, end of September last year. Super fun project. But yeah, it was like a full daytime thing where, you know, wake up early in the morning, go over to Richmond and doing kind of all these like staging of workouts. And obviously like every time I bring Wrigley somewhere, he becomes the star of the show. So
yeah, it's really good.
Really cool shots.
I saw a long cut of it, like not long, like, you know, 30 seconds. And then I saw a shorter cut of it. But I see the thing you're wearing, like just some yellow like thing. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to get one of those. I went on the Skeeter thing and they don't have them.
They sold out or?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't find it. I'm not good at that. But but probably they don't make that one anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean,
any other sponsors?
Stuff. Yeah, there's definitely others. Dermatone, sunscreen provider, which is also like part of my helmet ensemble. I always have to like visualize what I'm wearing head to toe. I'm partnering with Satva. It's a mattress company. So bedding, which is they sent me a nice king size bed, which has been unbelievable to sleep in.
Do these people, Steel, they get in touch with you, or do you have some sort of manager that
I have an agent. Yeah. So Erica Vesey, she lives in South Burlington, went to UVM.
Former friend or something?
Well, so I got in touch with her back before the 2018 Olympics. There was an interest from a company that was kind of like sending out feelers, and they had reached me. We ended up not working together, but because of that, I reached out to Erica being like, hey, like, I'm getting interest from this. Like, is this something you could help me out with? And then that became more of a, you know, formal relationship from there on out. But is
that what her job is?
Yeah. And she represents other athletes.
That's what I mean.
Paula Moulton. I'm trying to think a few others as well.
Oh, okay. So that's what she does for a job. It's not
Oh yeah. Yeah. And she has, it's like, I think as a ski racer, I'm always, you know, focusing on how I can be a better ski racer.
Yeah.
And obviously with that, like, you want to take on as much opportunity as you can working with these different companies. And she's kind of that bridge connecting the companies with the athletes.
Yeah.
And, you know, creating that relationship. So.
Yeah, Ryan, we got to shoot something up at Cochran that you're going to be running, and it'll be there Tuesday or whatever. Yeah.
She's a huge advocate for us, I think, as athletes first. So it's been really, really rewarding.
That's great.
With her. Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. J Peak or Stowe Mountain Resort? Don't get in trouble. Free ski.
No, I know.
Day off.
I hadn't skied J since I was probably like 15 years old. And we went this winter and I had so much fun. I honestly, these days I might say J, because I've skied so much at Stowe. I think like the mountains themselves, I think Stowe might be, you know, on the same level as J, but I think J, it's a cool vibe up there. A little more like independent, it seemed. Yeah,
it's just, I mean, that's what I dig. You feel like you're far away from it all.
Yeah.
At Stowe, you feel like you're at it all.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think they're both really cool mountains in Vermont. The day that we skied J though, Jessie ended up breaking her ankle. So it was kind of like a bummer to the day, but still a good experience.
Just a thing, like you're a famous guy. Like when you go to J Peak, you're going to know people because you're in the ski business. Is anybody, like if I was skiing with you, I'd be like, you know, no
one recognizes me. I mean, I'm not like, it'd be one thing if I was wearing, you know, my full speed suit and all that, but I try to go very incognito, especially skiing at home. So I very rarely get recognized.
And that's cool.
I look very normal. Yeah.
Well, but that's,
I do try to like make like nice turns once in a while, kind of like to show off to see, but I don't think it like draws any attention.
You got to hold back. That's so funny. But man, no. Obviously you're not going to do that, but it'd be funny if like, it's like, you know, like I got these musicians I know, like Patrick Ross. He's so great at the fit.
Oh yeah.
And like I've been around him. We go to places or something. We're picking, and then some pickers will come up and they'd be like, man, and that guy can just blow.
Yeah.
And it's how cool is it for him? Hey, man, you play? Yeah, I play. Here you got a fiddle. So Patrick could just take that, and people are like, what? So it's like,
yeah.
You have like a medal in the Olympics.
Yeah,
that's cool. Now I don't even know if you watch TV. Michaela's over there. Breaking Bad or Yellowstone? It just may not.
I don't watch so much TV.
Yeah,
but I have watched both of those. I haven't watched all of Yellowstone. I might say Yellowstone, just like the setting that it's in. Okay. I'm far more like living out in the West would be, pretty romantic. So
I don't watch TV. I don't have the thing, but I have watched Breaking Bad on thing. I thought it was great.
Both great shows. Yeah, really.
It's shot, but where my sister lives.
Yes.
Flicker.
Yep.
Now so it sounds like you have some movie sense. Godfather 1 or Godfather 2? Do you know enough about those?
Yeah, I've seen both of them, but it's been so long. Was this a question on your last? Yeah.
Fusco, John Fusco.
Yeah, because I remember he answered Godfather 2. And I listened to this down in Ushuaia, and in my head, I was like, oh, I need to go back and watch those to get like refreshed. The last time I watched it, I was probably like 10 years old or so. Okay. So really young. So I don't think I fully understood them.
Yeah. Not really relative.
Obviously, I rememr like the horse scene and all of that. But I actually should go back and maybe I'll do that.
I'm Godfather 2 for sure.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Larry the Cable Guy or the Logger?
The Logger.
Right, man.
You can't not answer that.
But we're wrapping it up. That I have kind of one wrap up question after a couple more of these fun things. People like them. Macintosh or Cortland, or is there any specific? Do you have a memory?
I always go Gala. For whatever reason, I don't know why. They always look not too shiny. Like
they don't.
Yeah,
I'm a Honey Crisp guy.
Yeah,
and they're very. Straight winter tires, good tread, or do you go studded? Because that's a thing. People, they're studded people, and then there are people who just winter tread, or there's all season.
Yes,
there's winter. Yeah, and then there's studded.
Yeah.
What do you?
So
you're not here much in the winter.
Not here that much, but I'm all through the ski team. Toyota is one of our sponsors, and so I'm provided a vehicle that I'm able to use on my own, and they provide all the winter tires that I need. So they're studded when I need them.
Yeah.
But I need to get, I don't drive my truck during the winter, but I need to get new tires for it eventually, which will probably just be all season.
Mm-hmm.
So not really answer. I'll say studded for you though, in the winter.
I have studded.
Yeah. You probably have to be up here though.
Well,
I would imagine. Yeah.
I know, because they plow it. People are like,
but there's got to be
get up that road. I'm like, they plow it, man. And
but studded tires make a big difference.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
To get,
Yeah.
It's
fun. I was driving down the road. This is August right now, and I saw someone with studded tires still driving it. I was like,
you hear it coming.
Those are not going to last another winter. No.
It's like, great. I love to see that. Did you put them on early or haven't you taken them off yet?
Yeah.
Traditional, like if you're going cross country skiing, we call it now as Nordic. Traditional style or skate ski?
Skate.
You skate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Skate too.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's fun. We went to Traps last winter.
Yeah.
Awesome time. Yeah. Well, we're both getting into it. So in the fall, we went to the Cochran-Siegle, one of our fundraisers. Jesse and I both bought new old setups. So as cheap as we could get, but a good setup.
How weird is it for you to ski without edges? Like
it's pretty bizarre. The weirdest part
for me.
Yeah, for sure. Carving's harder, but like going downhill and being so out of balance is what's really strange. Cause like, when you're tied into your skis, you have such a good feeling, but yeah, it's cool. I love the challenge.
Probably like me.
Yeah.
I don't do it all the time, but I pick it up pretty darn quick. I'm pretty good at skiing, but you pick it up pretty quick, but it is weird. You're like, damn, man. But if you focus, you're like, okay, I got that.
Yeah.
You can go down fast. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you describe equipment, have one more, we'll make it. Oh, yeah, here's an interesting one. This is the last one. And then I want to ask you one more thing. Maple or chocolate creamy? I know we're into maple, but some people are...
Of those two, I would go maple, but I almost always go vanilla. I'm like...
You're a vanilla guy.
Yeah. With rainbow sprinkles would be my main order. But I do like...
I wouldn't have called that, dude.
I know. That's like my go-to. I feel like it's a good way of testing the creamy too, because not everywhere's going to have maple. And it's also like... Maple creamies are hard to do, where actually sourcing real maple syrup for it is not that common. Most of the time it's like a flavoring. Whereas vanilla, I think you get a good like kind of, it's hard to mess up a vanilla creamy to begin with, but you also kind of like can separate the like very standard, simple process versus the like incredibly creamy, rich taste. So, kind of why I go vanilla.
And you said you like ice cream. You have a weakness for sweets, and so let's extend it a little bit. So let's talk some ice cream talk here. I had this one, like it wasn't a throwaway line, but it was a really good line in my first show.
Yeah.
And I talk about, what does I talk about? Ben and Jerry's or something. And it's just the way I lay it out. One of my lines, people come up to me still. My parents was always Breyers people. And it was just the way it lays out, but they were always Breyers people.
Yeah.
Dad liked it. So because there's all these new ice creamy things and some of them are Vermonters. Do you have a favorite like you guys when you go out?
Well,
Ben and Jerry's, you could,
Yeah. So growing up, we were like either a Hood or Friendly's family, like in terms of the ice cream that my mom was buying. Basically whatever was on sale was what we get.
They're good, man. Hood.
And always, like Hood, yeah.
I like it.
Ben and Jerry's was always too expensive, so I barely ever ate it. But these days, I'm like I love getting a pint of Ben and Jerry's. That's like what I seek.
What's your
out. I'm like
vanilla?
No. I feel like vanilla's for Ben and Jerry's, like their specialties, obviously, in like their mix of flavors and like chunks and all that. So, Chunky Monkey, Cherry Garcia, those are. I feel like those two. I'm like I float between being my favorites, but then Half Baked, Tonight Dough, those are like pretty regulars, I would say. Sometimes I like go and I just get like 5 pints that put in the freezer.
You should. Off season, you should work for him, man. You get free.
I don't think that would be good for me.
One of my jokes, I forget one of my routines was so good. I remember I said, Junkie Monkey. Anyway, you ever have Stratford Farm?
No.
So you and Jesse, check out Stratford, Vermont.
Yeah.
They're down by Tunbridge. There's a farm there, and it's always been one of my favorites. They've been doing ice cream for years. They got Winter Mint. They got. I highly recommend Stratford.
Yeah.
They don't have stuff in
the local Vermont ice cream spots are awesome. We just moved to Burlington, but we were in South Burlington, and so we were close to where Sisters of Anarchy is.
Yeah, I like their little packaging too.
Like the ice cream is so
chocolate.
Yeah, so rich. Yeah. The like, what is it? I forget the name of their super rich chocolate. Yeah. But those places are awesome, and the waffle cone.
So Jessie likes chocolate.
Yeah, she's also a sweets person. Like
I got her presents.
Oh,
downstairs.
Nice.
It's chocolate. It's a bunch of different chocolate. I didn't know.
Perfect. Yeah. She loves it. She's gonna love that.
And I got Wrigley
like a chew toy.
No, little treats.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Now, so last question. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be following you and everything. We might see each other before you go. You go away and you come back. And you go away again.
A lot of back and forth. Yeah.
So when do you start? When do you go away for good for the season? October.
This season's actually nice that we have a good number of breaks built in. Like, where I go, I'm gone for 3 weeks, come back for 3 weeks, gone for 2 weeks, come back for 10 days. It's kind of that for a while. The last break that I get at home will be December 28th until probably like January 7th. And then I'm gone through the Olympics. And then I come back, then I get like 2 more breaks at home after that. So it's a lot of back and forth, and like getting that breakup, I feel like makes it feel so much more manageable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like, if there's enough break in the schedule, I like coming home because I get that like refresh. And sometimes when you're in Europe for too long, things kind of become stale and stagnant, and it's hard to like find like motivation of like continue to build, right? You feel like you get to a place that you're kind of just stuck there. So coming home always kind of like snaps you out of that. And then when you go back, you're also like happy and excited to be there because you just got like a boost of family and friend time.
Yeah. So the last question, 45-year-old Ryan, what's he doing?
45-year-old.
You don't have to give me the whole, but basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, yeah. So 12 years from now, I mean, ideally like having a kid, raising a family, multiple kids, having a dog. I think in a way, like having a slower life, way more time at home. I mean, hopefully just home all the time, living the simplest.
Have any idea what your job might be?
I have no idea maybe stay at home dad. But I don't know. I think in my head, what I'd really like to do is honestly stay at home dad, raise kids, but then also like for vocation, spending time at the ski area, helping with that project, and then springtime also contributing to Slopeside, making maple syrup, balancing those three things. I think.
Right.
I think I've spent such a long amount of time being, pulled away from Vermont and pulled away from family that there's part of me that I think I'm ready for having more say in what I do on a daily basis and that freedom of, deciding what I do. So I don't know. I mean, maybe by then too, I'd be ready to like get back in the workforce, but I think I'll need to take a little bit of time and figure out those next steps.
You're very much, like we moved here when I was 7, and I made my living, the crux of my living, speaking deferentially about Vermont, and Vermonters, and I can't claim to be a local, like you, but man, you're.
I would say, you've been living here longer than I have, so
that's right. I'm a local, but I'm not a native. Okay,
but I think some people, isn't the like native Vermonter
7
generations or something, right? So I'm
right.
My mom was born in New Hampshire, so.
Yeah, David Budbill, a great writer, a great close friend of mine, David Budbill, who I should get you a book of his. You'd love it because of what I'm going to say. He said, what's native, rocks, what's native, the rocks, the dirt, the whatever. And I say, a long time Vermont guy, I say the young family, the young married people, whatever they are, who moved here 4 months ago.
Yeah.
If you moved here, you're all in, man. I'm not judging you. My parents did that.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah. I think there's so many people that have come here, and the reason why they came here is because the same reason why we're still here is that they love the place, right? And they fall in love with the place.
Vermonter. I will call them a Vermonter.
Yeah. I'm always hesitant because like growing up, we had so many people that were like weekend skiers. So living in Mass or Boston, right? And then they come up on the weekend, and then at a certain age, they like move their full family up and they call themselves Vermonters. I actually have 2 friends that's their situation, but they've been in Vermont a long time, since they were like 8 years old. So they can say that they're Vermonters if they want to do. Yeah. And I think at this point, like, honestly, I think that's so silly. Like if you come up here and move here, however you got here, if you have a Vermont driver's license, right? Like what's the difference between, them and us? And really like, I think the less you can separate us and kind of just we're all Vermonters, right. That's where we need to go. And like you said, right? Like, even if, my great grandfather was here and I've been here this whole time, he wasn't the first, like, he wasn't here the whole time either. Like, we all come from somewhere else. Yeah.
My first show, as you know, was all the Flatlander. It was all making fun of the Flatlander. Yeah. And I was a Flatlander. And I said it after every show. I'm not from Vermont. Originally, blah, blah, blah. So I put it a certain way, but it was all about the Flatlanders, how the Vermonters love it. But yeah, you really are a person who really is not identified by Vermont, or you don't identify Vermont, but you like love it more than a lot of people who've been here a long time. Yeah. You identify, I don't know how to put that sentence.
Yeah.
But you
I like embody it, or like,
you embody it. You look at you and your Vermont ski racer and everything, but no,
I think
you are in it, man. You love the syrup. You love the this. You're going to work on those trails. You're coming up here and cutting the trees, and not everyone is all in. It's thick in you, man.
Yeah. I think I just had a great upbringing, and being surrounded by so many people, like growing up in Starksboro, there's so many people that were like, born and raised there, and have, they followed such a similar lifestyle, like making maple syrup, or very like, close to the land. And I have that appreciation for those types of people. And like, I do feel, part of being in Vermont is like appreciating the natural state that it is. And I think we do a really good job of that connection. And so I feel like, even though I'm away 6 months of the year, like I'm always drawn back here and love that like natural kind of, I don't know, synchronization between the people, the culture and the place that it is.
That's what I'm saying. You've gone out. A lot of people might say, okay, that's cool. I grew up in Vermont, man, but I'm going to have. But no, you come right back to it in earnest, heavily. It's right in you. And that's not with everyone, so you are that guy.
Yeah.
Cool,
I love
man.
it here, yeah. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.